Well, that's a scary thing.
I know it. But we're doing it. It's awesome.
All right. Let's do this.
Mm-hmm.
Celebrating 10 years of award-winning car talk, it's the In-Wheel Time Car Show. Coming up, Richard Tomlin joins us to talk road racing in Mexico. Aha! We need more. Jeff has our used car of the week. Are you sitting down? The
Yes,
2010 Chrysler PT Cruiser.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord. And we have a special section on the new Bronco DR. Tell you all about that. Conrad has his racing calendar and the car clinic. We also have the stories making automotive news headlines this week, all just ahead on this hour's In-Wheel Time Car Show. Howdy, along with Suze, the Beagle. Mike out of this world, Mars. King Conrad DeLong. We need more, Jeff Zekin.
We do.
I'm Don Armstrong. So glad that you could join us on this Saturday. If you're just getting out of bed in the Houston, Texas area, we have some bad news to tell you about what happened last night at the Travis Scott Astro World celebration, whatever you want to call it, down there at
concert.
NRG Stadium. There were 8 people that were killed last night or died from whatever reason. And
Were they trampled?
Apparently, there was a big crush of people up toward the front of the stage. This is an event that didn't have any seating, so everybody was standing.
But nobody knows what started the rush. So.
No, there apparently was some surprise appearance by some rapper by the name of Drake, and everybody, I guess, pushed toward the front, to get a closer look. There were a lot of people there. I actually flew the 10 o'clock news last night, and I will tell you that there were a lot of people. Over the weekend, it was a 2-day event, beginning yesterday and then supposedly today. They were estimating 100,000 people to be in attendance.
Wow.
And I don't think that there were anywhere close to that last night. But there might have been 40,000 people there, 50,000 people.
So that's about the amount of people that come to our show when we do remote.
That's right.
That's what you're expecting tonight, right?
But no one dies.
So, at any rate, kind of a sad day here in the Houston area. But the weather is beautiful. We got a full lineup here on the In-Wheel Time Car Show. We've been sitting here for the last hour, twiddling our thumbs and reminiscing about things like the Hollywood Nights.
No.
And the reason that comes up is because last Sunday, was Halloween, and the Hollywood Nights was centered around one night in 1965 around Tubby's Drive-In, the closing of Tubby's, and the Knights Car Club initiation. So there was that. And, of course, I thought, man, what a great moment to bring back some of the memories of a great 1980 movie with Tony Danza and Michelle Pfeiffer.
I didn't realize those people were in it. Now I'm going to have to go watch it.
Fran Drescher was in it.
Fran, that's her name.
Take, I'm so hot, I'm so bothered. Come on, Take, I'm ready. Just one of the many quotes.
Alrighty.
I did find out this week that there is a Hollywood Nights fan club on Facebook. And guess what? I'm now a member. Yay, me.
Yay.
Well, let's just get on with the show.
Richard's going, oh, my God.
Dear God, what have I...
What a lead in.
What have I gotten myself into this morning?
Richard
Tomlin with Apex Auto Works. Our first guest of the morning. Richard, good morning to you. Sorry to have to bring up all of this stuff right before your appearance here, but listen, that's a movie. That's a must-see for any car guy.
Seems like a Netflix must.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's on Netflix. I assume that it is. It's certainly on YouTube, and you can get it on YouTube. I happen to have the Blu-ray DVD.
Of course you do.
He does.
And I'm just full of quotes.
He also has the Betamax version.
And if you do want to watch it, you don't even have to watch it. Just call Don. He'll give you the...
I pretty much go right through the whole movie with you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
catch him at
condensers.
midnight, and he'll be in costume like Rocky Horror Picture Show. He'll act the whole thing out for you.
Absolutely. New bomb.
Toast.
That's right. Well, Richard, thanks so much again for getting up and joining us this morning. So, Road Racing in Mexico is the title of your segment, and I assume that you just got back from that event.
Yeah, we got back from a event called San Pedro Matir Hill Climb. Now, this hill climb is located in the Baja Peninsula, so it's a very remote area, to put it politely. The closest gas station is about an hour away.
Wow.
So get out there, you are way out there.
So did you get a charter, a C-130 charter to load up all the equipment and fly it out?
No.
Or?
Yeah, 1,800-mile tow one way.
Yikes.
So load up the Miata on the trailer, hook the trailer up, load the top canopy gear, and away we go. The event is over 3 days. You've got a, kind of orientation day, learn where things are. Day 2 of practice, you're running up a 19-mile road, running up the side of a mountain.
Wow.
This mountain gets closed off at both ends. We did it in 18 minutes. If you imagine Pikes Peak being 12.43 miles, add an additional 6.5, 7 miles to it. This is what we're doing. But of course, this was made in Mexico a long time ago, so the road doesn't have what we call a rhythm to it. You go to Pikes Peak, it's kind of a left and a right and a left and a right as you climb up the mountain. This one doesn't have that. So it's 4th year of happening. We've been there all 4 years. It's growing, but it's growing more in motorcycles than cars. There were only 3 of us that made the voyage this year. People are still scared of COVID to cross the border. But I will say, for those of you wondering, crossing the border was probably the easiest I've ever had. This year.
Well, apparently millions and millions of other people feel the same way.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it was very, very simple. We didn't have any problems.
Let me
this
ask
year.
you, so what was your route from Houston, Texas to get to the Baja of California?
Well, you take the wonderful I-10.
Yeah.
Usually we go to Mexicali and drop across Mexicali. But this year, the border in Mexico is only open crossing from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. Well, we had gotten there about 1:55, and it's like, we're not going to make it. So we went over to try to get Tecate, missed Tecate, went all the way up to San Diego, and then down Pacific 1, through Ensenada, which is where all the Baja 1000 stuff, Baja 500 starts.
Mm-hmm.
Spend the night there, St. Nicholas Hotel Casino. Cheap, $34 a night, just amazing place. And
nice plug.
Yeah, but he dropped $6,000 on the
You
slot
get a
machine.
night free for plugging them.
No, that's a different story. You're absolutely correct. And then you head down another 3.5 hours down the coastline and come across. And this mountain, San Pedro Matir, highest mountain in the Baja Peninsula, 12,800 feet, I believe.
Wow.
They've got 9 observatories from 7 countries on top of that mountain. It's supposedly the #1 place in the world to look at stars.
Wow.
There's just no light pollution.
Yeah, I was going to
There's
say,
nothing-
there's no ambient light.
Well, it doesn't take us a mountain to look at stars around
Well,
this
just
show.
come
That's
through
for
that
sure.
door
Yeah,
right there. Hubba hubba.
There you go.
All right. Well.
So you said it was how many turns?
This one, they say 150 plus.
Wow.
There is really no way to count them over that 19 miles. There are so many. 4 of them have been named already by people that have gone off or destroyed a car there. It happens where you actually do destroy some equipment as part of the race. We've had our fair share. We've had 2 of our 4 years there. We've come back with it on a trailer, being winched on. So,
Oops.
So do we have the Richard Tomlin turn up there?
no Richard Tomlin turn yet.
We don't
Thankfully.
want that yet. Yeah.
They do at the casino.
The casino.
$34 a night.
Yeah, exactly.
Not that.
Yeah.
They take a little cash from us. But yeah, the whole premise of this race is actually being able to climb the hill flat out at speed that's got debris on the course. The course has got, some potholes, some wear, some guardrails, some drops that are, every bit of 300, 400 feet drops. You don't want to go off there, but that's the risk that makes it worth it. It's kind of like Pikes Peak before all the guardrails, before it went to fully asphalt, even though this is all asphalt. It's just high-level risk.
I mean, before Karen started taking care of it?
Yeah, before stuff changed.
So, Richard, how many folks went with you? You obviously you brought your team with you. Did more than one vehicle, more than one Miata?
Just 2 of us.
Okay, just 2 of you.
Yep.
So in the video, a car that kind of looked almost like an Indy car. I know it wasn't. What was that?
Actually, it is a former Indy car.
Really?
You were right. Former Menard chassis is what that is. That is what's called a Pikes Peak Special. That's owned by Spencer Steele. And now I'm drawing a blank on who owned it before him. Anyway, it was owned by another.
Sponsored by Prevagen.
Yeah. So it's a almost 600 cubic inches now, twin turbo on methanol. Makes about 1,600 horse at the wheels.
Whoa!
Every time. The car is amazing and obnoxious, and I've learned a lot about methanol that I did not know this trip. After the new road or Engine Masters episode where they're talking about methanol versus E85 and the 107 oxygenated fuels. Methanol is some nasty stuff, but boy, it can make some power.
So how did you get that fuel there? Was it provided? Did you have to bring your own?
Well, so some people try and sneak their fuel across the border. That's yielded bad results in the past. So the best way to do it is come into Ensenada a day early. Because of all the Baja stuff, there are VP dealers, plural. I think there's 4 dealers there in Ensenada. So you just drive in and go up and buy it.
They're already prepared for it.
Yeah.
They've got all that for you.
Yeah.
You just have to plan ahead a little bit to make sure that it's there and they have what you want.
Right.
But he went a 55-gallon drum and a 5-gallon drum on the weekend of methanol.
Wow. Well,
A
yeah.
whole lot.
Part of that's because methanol doesn't get the economy gasoline does, but it makes more power.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's horrible economy. But like even the Miata, for that 19 miles, we were going through 5.3 gallons a run. So what's that come out to? Gallon, not much.
I was not a math person.
Yeah.
Comes out to standing
Comes out of the nozzle.
standing up in the back of the car with a 5-gallon army drum pouring it out.
Yeah, it's less than 4 miles to the gallon. That's as close as I can get.
Yeah. So, it's got a hell of a grade to it. It's like you're looking at sky and then it's rock, sky, rock, sky, rock. That's all you see going up.
And the elevation change top to bottom?
Elevation change of this one's like 7,000 feet. We start lower than Pikes Peak, but
don't go quite as high.
Lower than them as well.
Isn't it like 14,000 for Peak?
Pikes.
Yeah, Pikes 14.9, but Pikes Peak starts at 6,800, 6,900. And we start at like 1,000 and run to 12,000.
So is this becoming as popular as Pikes Peak, or is this something that folks kind of want to keep it a secret?
Yeah, no, Pikes Peak, we're getting ready to celebrate 100 years of running. That's This next year will be 100 years of, being around. This is the 4th year that this race has happened. I will say that I can only know of 2 people that have been there that have not returned. Everybody keeps coming back, so it's growing every year. The bike number went up dramatically this year, in part to Pikes Peak. No longer powering bikes.
Right.
Yeah.
2 Isle Man champions there. One guy came in from Ireland, but those guys, they ride bikes. They're making it up to the top of the mountain 14 minutes compared to 18 minutes. I mean, these guys, skill set and fear, they do not have.
Wow.
Skill set, plenty, but no fear. I got some videos of them coming around some of the curves, and it's just amazing to watch them play.
Yeah.
Yeah. A bike at 100 miles an hour in a slide as he's making a turn.
That's what I'm thinking. 19 miles in 14 minutes, somebody's hauling donkey.
Oh, there you go, Mike.
Some of the curves, like in the Miata, are literally first gear corners. So in a bike, you're going to be down to at least second gear. I mean, you just have to be.
Neat.
Wow.
So it's a great challenge. It's a good course. We'll all be back next year with more support and more cars. The plan next year is we've got 2 other customers that want to go. So hopefully we have 3 cars on the mountain next year.
And what was your time? How many? Well, let me ask it a different way. At Pikes Peak, you get to run not really a full practice, but third section practices. How many runs do you get at this place? Because I know Pikes Peak, you only get 1.
You get 4 test runs the day before the event.
Top to bottom, or bottom
runs,
to top?
Yeah, 2 of the test runs are called qualify. Not really a qualify. You're still practicing learning the course. And then race day, you make 2 passes. They take your hottest time of the day.
Oh, wow. And yours was?
I didn't drive. It was all Scott this year.
Okay, and Scott's was?
Scott, 1831. So 2-minute improvement over what he had done 2 years ago. They didn't have it last year due to COVID, but an improvement nonetheless.
Some of that because of kind of a memory of the course, or a little bit more learning the course, or did you upgrade the car?
More car prep. He's on a new suspension setup. We got him switched over to Hoosiers. He was running a traditional road race tire, treaded tire, still DOT approved. This sanctioning body doesn't have a requirement for that, so we went to full-fledged slicks. put the Hoosiers on it, and picked up some time really quickly.
Oh, yeah, I would think so. And did you get a chance to drive, or did you ride?
Yeah, I got to drive, and I played chase and service crew, immediate response for some of the bikes that laid down. So I got my joys of running up and down the mountain plenty.
No association with SCCA, though, is there?
No association with SCCA, but everybody who loves to race kind of finds their same, all end up on the same path. And that's all this is. This is just more acquaintances from Mexico playing together, learning about these races, and start attending.
Yeah, and learning where some others might be, I assume.
Yeah, we're creating more. So there's another one that he started another race this year called the Tourist Cup. There's a rectangle-shaped section of road that is actually closed off by the Mexican government. They put in a new highway. So this asphalt is just sitting out there being neglected. Well, he's got rights to that. And they held an event Friday, Saturday that I was not able to attend, and it's a 9-mile loop that they run around. And basically it's turning into his personal country club racetrack.
Not a bad gig in his own country, too, huh?
Yeah, part of it. So he pays minimal money to the government, has full access to it. Everybody goes out there, and away they go, and they start racing. So it's a good time.
Cool.
That one next much larger than what it is this year. This year it was just bikes. Next year it'll be bikes and cars. But that's
over how long a period of time?
It happens once a year. You get 10 laps around the 9-mile circuit, so it's a 90-mile race for each one, and it's once a year. This next year, it's going to be October 1st and 2nd, I believe. The Tecate Tourist Cup is what it's called.
Cool.
Fun stuff.
Yeah, Richard, before we get too far gone here and run out of time, I got to ask you about what that is behind you. What are you doing?
Behind me is the car you don't see in my shop often, the Police Interceptor Crown Vic. This is one we're building for the next Lemons race, which happens not this weekend, but next weekend here in Houston.
You're going to tear it up?
Oh, no, we've made it way better. It's got a cage now. We can go do all kinds of things.
Oh, good. So don't bend it up. I mean, how much fun would that be? I've kind of got the hots for getting one of those things.
Well,
a Police Interceptor.
Go
drive the Lemons with them.
Yeah, but I mean, is there anything wrong with it?
No.
Not until after the weekend.
Spotlight used to work. We had Spotlight out. But this is we're building it for 5 veterans who have lost use of their lower extremities.
Oh.
They have no legs or don't have use of legs. So this one will be equipped with hand controls. We have 5 drivers that will compete 9 hours Saturday, 9 hours Sunday to finish this race. So what better car to put them in than a Police Interceptor? It's already got all the silicone hose upgrades in the front. It's got the upgraded radiator, plenty of size to get these people in and out of the car. And this is in affiliation with Vet Motorsports, Hands-On Driving Academy, and, of course, us putting the cage work together.
Wow, that's awesome. Well, the only other thing that I ask that you do is make sure that you get one of those little cameras that you can put on the windshield, so we could,
Right.
The GoPros.
The GoPros, so we can see how everything works, and we can ride along with it at some point in the future.
Yeah, we've got a couple that actually do live streaming, and I'll get you guys some links. But Saturday, this time next week, this car will be on track making laps.
Sounds good.
Are they going to have on black suits with little narrow, skinny black ties, white shirts, and hats and sunglasses?
Big speaker on the roof.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that any of that's been discussed. Costumes are optional at this event.
Hey,
Well,
points for.
I've got mine.
Yeah.
Richard, it's great to talk to you. Thanks so much for joining us today.
No worries. We'll talk to y'all next time. Be good.
You too.
Thank you, sir. I love that.
Well,
idea.
I've got some great news to tell you guys.
I heard the phone ring.
Yes, the phone rang, and yes, it's the
hotline is rung.
Yeah, the
There's
hotline.
the bat light up in the sky.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and
No, it's a margarita glass.
and fortunately for all of our followers and listeners, I'm going to have to leave you guys.
Oh, no.
And I have to go to my real job this morning. I've been called in. So, in the meantime, and in between time, I know that you'll do a fine job. But in the meantime, I'm going to do my car review here if that's okay with you guys.
Oh, but wait a minute. When he's gone, he's got a liquor cabinet.
I do have the liquor. Matter of fact, I'll give you the keys to the liquor cabinet.
No, we don't need an
No, we
excuse.
don't need those stinking keys.
We need a key to the restroom is what we need.
So here is the review for the 2021 Kia Sorrento. By the way, the Kia Sorrento is made in West Point, Georgia.
What?
Just thought you'd like to
Yeah,
know
that's
that. I
pretty
like
cool.
to throw that in. Available trim levels on the Kia Sorrento: the LX, the S, the EX, the SX, the SX Prestige, and the SX Prestige X line. I had the SX Prestige X line, all-wheel drive, top of the line. Now, this is what the federal government calls a small SUV. That is not, to me, that is more along the lines of a mid-size SUV, all right?
Yeah.
Complete redesign for 2021. The thing with the Kias is that they package up all of their options. That's why there's so many
option packages or,
Correct.
or car titles.
So when you get the EX, all of the options for the EX package are included. It makes it really nice, and it's easy to shop for. Now, this particular one, like I said, was the X-Line all-wheel drive SX Prestige, top of the line one. The exterior features, very attractive body style, as you can see there. Grille, well done. Distinctive rear tail lights. Sunshade over the rear glass. Just adds a little touch of class to it. What I liked about it, the traditional design gets high marks in my book. What could use improvement? Nothing. I think that's a sharp-looking SUV.
It is.
Interior highlights, unique infotainment screen that's integrated into the instrument panel. It's kind of hard to make out in that picture
So
there.
it's not like an iPod sticking up on top.
No, it's not. It's all
Or an
one,
aftermarket look,
and it
yeah.
really does look cool. Quilted, stitched seats look very rich. It's got a beautiful dash design. Overall, a great design. This is one good-looking SUV. Cargo trunk room, very little cargo room with the third row up. Now, you put the third row down, obviously you've got plenty. But this is a 3-row SUV. There you go. You can see it right there. What I liked about it, the Kia Uvo Access App. And you say, well, what is the
Uvo Access App, Don?
Well, they gave me this great big deal here that actually, so you can control all of these things with your cell phone, okay? You download this thing on your cell phone. You can tap to see the update vehicle name, VIN, preferred dealer, location, and phone number. You press to get the vehicle location where you are, press buttons to remotely start, stop the vehicle, access the remote climate control so you can get the air conditioning running before you
that's
even
nice.
get there. It's got all, set the climate. Horn, lights, valet alert, door security, dealer appointment,
Well, I like
service
valet
miles.
alert. That, when you're walking through the parking lot and you're looking for your car, you hit the button,
Yeah.
and the car goes off.
Yeah. So it also,
that.
yeah, you can also add other Uvo-equipped vehicles because Kia's not the only one that has that. Anyway, it's a very unique feature that I really did like a lot. Third row access can be a little bit difficult to get back there if you're an adult, but really these third rows in a mid-size vehicle, it's for kids, basically. Engine, 2.5-liter turbo four-cylinder that whops out 281 horsepower,
Wow.
311 pound-feet of torque through an 8-speed dual-clutch automatic transmission with a tow rating of 2,000 pounds.
Huh.
It's got a
Pretty
lot
decent.
of good stuff going for it. And gas mileage, 21 city, 28 highway for a combined of 24. What I liked, plenty of power for this thing. What could use improvement? That auto start-stop feature, not for 2-foot drivers like me because it's slow to restart. And with that dual clutch, just doesn't work the way that it should. But you know what? Don't use that.
Turn it off.
Turn it off.
It helps.
Ride and handling, extremely comfortable ride and handling. Base trim price, $42,590. Now, remember what I said. It includes everything, obviously not the delivery charge, and one other thing on there that nobody pays any attention to. Base model price, $29,390. All of this competes against the VW Tiguan for $25,245, the Mitsubishi Outlander for $25,795, which, by the way, is an extremely ugly vehicle. Oh. And then there's the Nissan Rogue, and it starts at
Don't hold back,
$26,000.
Don.
But does not have a third row seat. But that Mitsubishi Outlander, have you seen that thing?
I rented one.
Oh,
Actually, rented one just last weekend.
Yeah.
When I went to
Did you have the
conference.
windows tinted so nobody could see that it was you driving it? Dude, that thing
And
is
you're telling
just-
people that you actually drove it?
I think the newer Outlander is different than the one you're thinking of.
Outlander.
Oh, no,
Outlandish?
it's not.
Outlandish.
It's ugly.
Okay.
Sorry. All right. Well, that's it. I got to go. So you guys, it's all yours. Jeff's going to move over here and pretend to play this game. And
Substitute teacher.
that's it. So
We'll wait till he's gone, and then we'll change things. We're going to move the
Great.
studio. He's
Yeah.
going to come back. We're not going to be here.
You're one of those
The door will
that
be
valets
locked.
the car and moves the seat and adjusts the mirror.
Puts it on a goofy radio
Absolutely.
station.
Yeah, some goofy radio
Yeah.
station. Yeah, you be sure and do all of that. Anyway,
Run it through a mud puddle.
y'all have a good time.
Okay.
Resets the
So are we going to go into a break?
resets the
and then,
presets for the
no?
seats.
Okay. We're just dancing.
Yeah, we're just dancing.
Okay. Turn me off.
Well, we got to be talking.
Are
to
you
somebody
giving him the Bronco?
because we've got a
Okay.
okay.
All right.
Well, I'm listening to Don talk, and I'm thinking he's still online. Well, Don's got something more important to do than us, and it's more.
It pays better. That's for dadgum sure.
And we're going to keep moving here. Jeffrey's going to take the King's or the Don seat, and we will.
He's strutting. Yeah, he's
we'll
strutting.
continue as Jeff kind of waddles over there.
Yeah. Yeah, and Susie doesn't know what's going on either. She's trying to figure out.
Oh yeah. Take care of my dog, Don says as he walks out the door.
as he goes out the
Susie's
door.
going, hey, you forgot me.
Hello,
Yeah,
am I
you
on?
did.
Is
Yeah.
this thing on?
You're on.
Okay.
Yeah,
I've got
you
to
are
adjust some things
on.
around here. Videos.
We'll get
all that.
situated.
Okay. Well, good morning. What are we doing, Mike?
You got the script.
I have
You can
no
tell
idea.
we really prepared for Don bailing out on us.
Don leaving.
Well,
What am I
you
looking
know,
at?
a couple of because I know Don kind of tops and
Wait,
bottoms.
it's time for the
the
car
half
clinic.
hour.
That's what it is.
Oh no,
Okay.
well, we don't have time for the car clinic. There's only 20. It's 26. I'll
Oh,
actually
no,
pay
my
attention.
bad. That's in the next segment.
Okay.
So, we usually have a couple of little news stories. An Illinois judge has dismissed a class action lawsuit against Mercedes-Benz for unexpected shattering of sunroofs. This guy, his wife was driving down the highway in southern Illinois, and she hears this pop and this. When she pulls over to stop, the sunroof falls in.
wow.
All pebbles
On top
and
of
stuff. No, yeah, but I mean, it broke into all pebbles.
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
means it's
Safety
shattered.
glass.
It's tempered
Yes, yeah,
glass,
yeah,
so it
yeah.
means it was shattered. Who knows what fell on it, or some rock or something hits it? They go ahead and they sue Mercedes for sunroofs breaking
Damage.
like that. And finally, a judge goes, "Now, this is a frivolous lawsuit."
Oh, wow.
So doesn't happen enough. We want to see it happen a little bit more often.
For the frivolous side, or
Yeah.
Okay.
The talk about irony. Thousands of unfinished Chevrolet Silverados have been parked in a chip manufacturing plant in Indiana. So it's a closed microchip plant. They can't
Wow.
get chips for them.
so they're parking the vehicles there.
They got parking space.
Yeah.
And you think of all of the chip production has gone overseas, and that's
Well, I
so
don't
it's,
think all of
it's,
it's
it's
gone.
closed chip.
right. Used to make chips.
But there's chips
How
being made
ironic.
here in the U.S. too. Isn't Texas Instrument making chips? I believe.
Oh,
they have a
there's
division.
a few. of them
Yeah,
that are
there's a
making-
lot of companies. that
Just
do
not
that.
enough, but it's good to see the manufacturers starting to get enough. When driving around town now, I notice dealers are starting to get more inventory.
Yeah, but it's kind of sporadic. Is the dealership that I go by in Winnie, it's Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep. Mm-hmm. They're down. They had the other day I went by there. They had 2 Jeep products on the new lot. This morning they have 1.
Oh, well,
Oh.
They've got
Means
some
they
Ram
sold one.
trucks. Yeah, they sold one. I mean, but it's kind of
Yeah, we're gonna have to take a break here. Are we?
if you
Yes,
know,
sir.
if you know how to push the button,
Can you
to
I
make
can
it
push
happen.
the buttons. Let's do
Push
this.
some buttons.
Hold on. I think it's this one. It says push me. So we're going to do that.
Tailpipes and Tacos, Houston's premier monthly cruise-in, will return Saturday, December 18th to the Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy. Tailpipes and Tacos wants to thank all of the participants and fans who have enjoyed the collector cars, hot rods, customs, originals, and resto mods, and everything in between. We'll be taking a break for Thanksgiving and Autorama, but we'll be back for a great Christmas cruise-in on December 18th, so make plans now. You know that Tailpipes and Tacos is the Houston area's coolest cruise-in, a place you'll see friends, family, and the finest cruise-in cars in the Houston area. It all happens at the Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. Get your ride ready for a very special Christmas cruise-in, Loopy style. It's Tailpipes and Tacos, Saturday, December 18th. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Let's celebrate the Christmas season together at the next Tailpipes and Tacos on December 18th. We'll see you then, weather permitting. Gulf Coast Auto Shield has moved to a more Tacos, Houston's premier monthly cruise-in. Gulf Coast Auto Shield has moved to a more convenient location. Now you can visit John Gray and his staff of dedicated professionals at their new shop on the South Sam Houston Parkway between Belford and Airport in Southwest Houston. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is the best at paint correction and ceramic coatings. Clear bras and custom wraps are specialties that only Gulf Coast Auto Shield installs with award-winning accuracy, and all their services come with a warranty. Lamborghini, Aston Martin, Porsche, and Ferrari owners depend on Gulf Coast Auto Shield for their specialty services, and you should too. The In Wheel Time Corvette and Cutlass have both been massaged by Gulf Coast Auto Shield, so isn't it time your vehicle visit their new shop in Southwest Houston? Call John Gray today at 832-930-5655 or visit online at gcautoshield.com. That's gcautoshield.com. Paint, coatings, wraps, and more at gcautoshield.com.
Jeff. Hello, Jeff.
Here we go. Is everybody on? Hello.
Yeah, at least bring us back if we haven't figured out how to run all the commercials yet. We'll get all the commercials on before the show is over. But
hello. Okay,
hello.
Those just tuning in, Don had to leave, and he left this.
Looking for a new bomb spyware.
There you go. He's got to go fly and do his flying thing. But he left us in charge, so let's party.
yeah, we're all going to be in trouble. Dad's going to come home and put us all in timeout.
Got beer cans laying all over the studio. Clothing.
There usually are.
There usually is after.
Yeah, there won't be anything new there.
Where are we going, Mike? What do we got?
This week is SEMA. So out in Las Vegas, it is probably leading the biggest industry show Las Vegas sees of any industry, because they take up six of the convention centers.
Yeah,
I was looking for my notes where they went.
It's huge.
And I don't think you could walk the whole thing in the time it's open.
No. Why would you?
Well, you can't physically walk it all. I mean, there's actually two conventions that are going on. The SEMA show, which is Specialty Equipment Manufacturers Association,
Apex.
Right.
And then the Apex show is different at a different convention center. It's a completely different thing.
It's same city, right?
SEMA runs Monday through Thursday. I think they've now got to go until noon Friday, but the Apex runs Tuesday through Friday. Yeah. And it's strictly an industry show. You've got to be cleared. You've got to be part of the industry. It's not open to the public.
BG Products was part of the Apex show. We had a huge display there going on, and actually won the best large display.
This year?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Very good.
Cool.
The things you know when you work for them.
I know.
Yeah,
but it's more about Apex, I would say, is a little bit more business to business type of a show.
Yes.
Where SEMA is business to business, but it's also business to
it's
consumer.
manufacture. It's to show your wares.
Well,
I just created this new widget.
But it's a little bit more of
It's a lot of that, yeah. But the Apex show is like you say, BG's there. You're going to find K&N filters there,
right.
Your oil additive products. In fact, that's where I last time I was there, that's where I got pictures with John Force, because he was there.
With Castrol?
Yes. And he had his car there.
I got pictures of John Force. I got pictures of the kids with me when they were
that
still
was
driving.
That was what he did. I was up there and I was taking pictures, and I asked him, I said, can I take a picture with the car? And he took my camera and he gave it to one of his guys. He grabbed me, pulled me over there. Then he called the kids over.
Yeah.
Come on over here. We're going to take some pictures.
Whose kids, yours or his?
His.
Okay.
And so, it was to me, I like the Apex show. I mean, the cool stuff is over at SEMA. I got it. The guys build the cool cars.
But you have a little closer access at Apex than you do at SEMA.
Yes.
A lot of SEMA is, you're walking through, but there are kind of areas that, unless you have a certain level of clearance, you can't get into.
Well, not only that, the last time I was there, which again, it was probably, now it's been 3, maybe even 4 years.
Thanks, Tawa.
Yeah, well, I don't go every year just because
it's expensive.
It's expensive, yeah. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so they had started doing their a lot of the press conferences and stuff. They were doing there basically in the halls. You couldn't move because somebody that had their car or their display or whatever they had, then they were doing their press conference there, and the people would all crowd around there, and you couldn't move, you couldn't get around, you couldn't see any. You sure couldn't take any pictures.
That sort of happened to us when we were at the auto show, around our booth.
Yeah. Same basic concept. It gets so crowded and everything that you just can't. But there is some really cool stuff there, and that's the reason it's so big, because there's so many people going there, showing off things and doing things. We've got another story coming up about some of the cars from the OEMs that are there.
And that isn't necessarily something they've been doing for a long time. On and off OEMs have kind of showed a couple of things at SEMA, but it seems maybe in the last 4 or 5 years the OEMs have really started making a statement.
I think particularly this year, because they haven't been able to do anything because of COVID for the last year and a half, 2 years. I mean, they were starting to make a big presence there at CES, the Consumer Electronics Show in January.
I was going to ask about that. That is in January.
Yeah, they really had a lot of the keynote speakers were from the automotive industry, and a lot of the vehicles, again, a lot of electronics into the cars. So it was a good place for them to showcase that, but they haven't been able to do that. So I think that kind of put them in a better position to go to SEMA this year to be doing something.
This January, the CES show, what is going to be the topic?
Well,
chips.
Well, I'm sure that's going to have a big
manufacturers are going to be there,
they don't
or is it going to be like 3 booths and that's it?
Yeah, just 3 of them, and
it'll be packed.
Kids over there with color
introducing some piece of new technology, some new video technology, some new storage,
all the app stuff.
Technology.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what SEMA is for the auto industry, and so many people display their new to the industry show cars in different sections. Who is it? Randy Borcherding. He brought the Ranchero out from Paint House and is displaying that in, I believe it's the Meguiar's.
I think so.
Display.
And then he's had some pictures on the Paint House Facebook page about some of the other cars there that have used his product.
Right.
And that's really kind of what it's about, but it runs the gamut from
and you watch all of the shows on Velocity and History Channel, the car shows, and everybody builds a car for SEMA. So they get a chance to display their shop and who they are and what they do to the world. And then you got guys like Ken Diggett brings probably 15, 20 cars of all of his different customers plus his newest and latest toy.
But he was there, and Chip Foose was there this year, and I mean,
those guys are, it's the same usual suspects.
Antron Brown from NHRA, because NHRA was running their 4-wide there in Las Vegas.
Right.
So they run that at the same time. So then, of course, now you've got all these race cars.
People, right?
Yeah, that are over there.
And some executives that travel with the race events.
Yeah. So it's a real. A lot of stuff comes together in the automotive world this week or last week with SEMA being there, and it's. One of these days I hope to get to go again, but it's pretty cool.
One of the other things this weekend is end of daylight savings time. Don's got this highlighted here. And for most people, the end of daylight savings time on Sunday means gaining an extra hour of sleep, and maybe a reminder to change smoke detector batteries, which is always a good thing. However, we encourage you to add a new tradition to your safety essentials list. When falling back and springing forward, check your vehicle safety recalls. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Safercar.gov. Pull the 17 digits off of your insurance card, dial it in, and they'll tell you not only what recalls are outstanding on your vehicle, what recalls have been completed on your vehicle as well.
Yep.
So
I've got one. I just got I got a recall on the Cadillac. I got a letter stating you have a recall, but we don't have the parts. So stand by.
Yeah.
And it is for a rear suspension piece is what it is. And then just this past week, I got another letter saying we have the part. So
and
I got to get it taken in.
That happens because National Highway NHTSA, they do an investigation. A lot of it based on customer input, but a lot of it based on warranty failure analysis. So, and as they do these investigations, as soon as NHTSA says, "Hey, this is unsafe," you have to recall it. Now the manufacturer has to put out the recall notice to the customers to advise them of something unsafe. Then they go in and they start reassessing the part, building the part. So it's not uncommon for a recall to be issued
Before
and the
the
parts
parts,
be,
right.
A week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks away.
Whatever the case, yeah. But in the meantime, if you do take it in, have them look at the rest of the vehicle, not just that part.
No, pretty much anybody you're going to bring.
They're gonna
any
do
quality
inspection.
shop, any quality shop you bring your vehicle to, they should be doing a multi-point inspection every time you bring the car in.
Now he's left me some recalls. Speaking of which, so you want to get into that?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, so this is National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. We've got Honda gear shift pedal arm welded improperly. And this is for the Honda. It's the CT125 model, all 2021s. Then we have the Mercedes-Benz. Seems to be Mercedes-Benz comes up a lot.
Well, they're building a lot more cars than they used
Seats assembled incorrectly.
to. Uh-oh.
I wonder if the back is in the front and the side. I don't know. It doesn't say.
Something
Get rid of
falls
that.
off.
Those are in the AMGs, the AMG GLE 53, all the GLEs, the 350, 450, and the 580 GLSs. And then we move down to Volkswagen. The rear view camera image may not display. That could be dangerous.
And that's a safety recall because now rear view cameras are required on all vehicles.
Right. And
have
it
been
lists,
for a few
it lists
years.
like every Audi
Yep.
on here. Every Audi on here. We'll just get rid of that. And then Mercedes-Benz again with the rear window glass may detach. And I think we talked about it. Very similar story there. And what we have here, Tesla. Side curtain airbag may be twisted.
Oh,
So
Twisted?
if you got your sister in the car,
You got Twisted Sister.
There
Twisted
you
Tesla
go.
sister.
Tesla.
move that over there. And that's on the Model 3, popular model. And also with Tesla, the front suspension lateral link may separate. Now,
Oh, that's loss of steering when that happens.
lateral link, and that's on the
That could be a
3 and
problem.
on the Model Y for the 2019 through 2021. So all of these have some type of date restricted on that. So we'll
Get your vehicle checked, safercars.gov, and there's a 17-digit number
Safer
on your
cars or safer car?
safercar.gov.
Okay.
What
There's
did
no
you-
S there.
Okay.
Well,
Car.govs?
and run your 17-digit VIN and see whether the next car's been
What's that?
recalled.
It's- Mike,
We're wandering
cut
around
it
here.
out.
I was going, ooh,
Well,
where are
who's
we
going
going
to tell
here?
us about Hollywood Nights the rest
Oh,
of the
no. You know what?
Don, we're so happy you got called off. Don must have watched it.
You know
last
what
night.
would
That's all we
really-
talked about before the show.
What would really tick him off, the last half hour, we're going to play the movie. We just played the movie. Well, last hour.
No, I don't think you're allowed to do that.
I don't think so either. But that's fun. Okay, where are we at, Mike? I don't have a list. He's dying over
ask
there.
him when he's coughing.
Choke me up on that one.
All righty.
Well, Mike was talking about how manufacturers are showing up to SEMA. I've talked over the last couple of weeks about Ford is bringing 6 of their newest Broncos to SEMA. And an outside company that Ford paid is bringing a 5-liter Coyote engined
What?
Bronco 2-door to SEMA to show it off. But is it maybe a look at the future? Oh, I hope so.
Yeah.
That would be so cool. And if you think about the Bronco, the original Bronco, which this one's trying to emulate, is the original Bronco. It came out extremely underpowered at first, and then eventually you can get a 302 in it.
Yeah.
So that'd be pretty cool if they did stick that.
They're
5-liter
probably
Coyote
wringing
in it.
their hands and drooling over what we're going
Yeah,
to do
could we
next.
talk to? I'm trying to think of who that company was that we talked to that did the Bronco. When they first came back out with the Bronco out.
Yeah, I can't remember.
That they
either.
were redoing them and rebuilding them and dadgummit.
No,
It's a
that
big
was
company.
restoring
that was
them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
was-
yeah.
They were putting the old body style on the new chassis frame and all the ingredients of new technology. Wasn't that it, or was that a Chevrolet?
That was Chevrolet.
Okay.
No, but there's a huge market, and there's a huge market here in town for
If I had my computer,
Bronco
I'd look it up, but since I don't have my computer,
Bronco
because Conrad's got it.
Bronco restoration stuff.
He's watching a
Well,
movie.
Bronco, yeah, they're very popular, and I mean particularly the older ones, because they were small, they were compact, lightweight, and you could beef them up real quick and real easy. Put something under the hood. A 302 was a real good fit for a lot of them.
Oh yeah,
and
well, and think of how many of them, because of the short wheelbase and how rugged they were, have done the Baja for years
Exactly.
and years and years.
That'd be interesting. The Coyote sounds like it'd be a blast.
Oh gosh!
And it would turn it into a semi-sleeper of a vehicle.
Well,
That
yeah.
would be cool.
Kind of like a Jeep Hellcat's a sleeper.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody knows what it is.
yeah, the 392
Well,
that
you
you
know,
can't talk over.
You could take the badging off, but why would you?
Yeah,
Well, it'd be like putting a V series badge on
Now
the back
you're
of your
talking.
SRX.
Now you're talking. That did happen. That's a story. We'll get into it right after the movie.
Right, yeah. They're making a movie about
Making
that.
a movie
aren't they?
about it. That's right.
Yeah, exactly,
I think,
exactly.
they're
So
gonna have
trying
a-
to keep up with it.
They're gonna have a Tesla play the role of my Cadillac. Okay. What do we got here, Michael? I'm coming to you.
Stand in.
So, are you going to talk today about the Toyota Tundra?
Did
the
I
2022 Toyota Tundra?
We can.
No, I didn't. I didn't pull that story. There
I
was
had
one of them
read-
there at SEMA.
I had read that it was also named
Truck of Texas.
Truck of
The
Texas.
Texas Auto Riders.
I think that's a heck of an accomplishment.
And I
on their
drove
part.
it at the Texas Truck Rodeo.
Do you have a story about that today?
Nope, I didn't bring that today.
Okay.
But we
Well-
can do that.
Let's make one up.
No, yeah, pull it up. We can talk about that right quick. Since you brought it up.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll have to go find it. I just had it in writing. I didn't.
Go over here, open up another tab.
Okay.
Go to the Texas Auto Riders Association.
Watch this.
No, you have to type it in.
Hold his beer. Watch this.
Yeah. In
Type
fact,
it in. I know your computer.
I know. So, but I disclaimer too. I'm not responsible for the places that he's been before the show on my computer.
Well, they can't see any of it.
Well, it's the Hollywood
know.
night
You're-
thing.
you're
It's the
looking-
night
This
thing. that
is
he's
I'm
talking
setting it up for when I get home and somebody else sees it over
No, I
my
have
shoulder.
nothing.
about. Okay. Gotcha.
And that is the only thing available is twin turbo V6, correct? On the 2022 Tundra, that is the powertrain
Yes.
of choice, and there is no smaller, there is no bigger. That's the
No,
only entry.
Tundra's always been that way.
Yeah.
You know, you've got very limited choices in that regard.
Okay, so this can be confusing, and I'm sure sometimes to me, putting in a smaller horsepower of the V6 and then adding the turbos. Why don't you just put a big V8 in there?
Fuel economy.
Yeah.
Well, I know that.
Fuel
but-
economy. You can actually get with a turbo motor. You can get V8 level torque with a turbo motor quickly and easily. But I think it's purely about fuel economy. You know, what is it? 8-speed automatic now.
Yeah, it's
so
10.
you know
Yeah, they've got 8s and they got 10s, and
they
that's-
give
and
you
it's-
4 or 5 overdrive gears.
Yep, and they wander.
Just trying to get you. Yeah, but not all of them do.
Yeah,
Not all of them.
it
They've
kind
got
of
a much better
depends
tune on it lately.
on the power that's there. That if the transmission's trying to make up for the power in the engine, then yeah, it's going to wander a lot. But
Yeah.
if they've got it well matched, generally you're not going to find that. A lot of times it'll, particularly the lower gears. I'm trying to, like a 10-speed when you're down in 2, 3, 4. If you're just driving, you're never going to notice it
Right.
shifting.
And then there's the immobilizer when you stop at a light or a sign, and that's annoying.
Well, it is.
Oh,
but
the
you
auto
can-
start stop.
Yeah, but generally you can turn that off, and it's really, to me, it's gotten so good. The majority of them. There was one that just, you just came to a screeching halt when the engine died. But generally, you don't even notice it much anymore.
Interesting.
Notice it more. I notice it more in the summer here because it's hot,
Yeah.
and the air conditioner kicks back in for the air conditioner before you get through the red light.
Well, but there is a return on that fuel economy with auto start stop.
Yes.
You know, auto start stop does deliver fuel economy benefits to the customer.
Well, and even if you don't see it yourself in your own car, you got to look at it from the manufacturer's perspective. If he's got 100,000 cars out there
Right.
new,
It has a big impact.
yes, it does.
And with that, depending on, you talk about that sensation of the restarting of the engine, and generally it restarts as you take your foot off the brake. The engine should be restarting. You don't have to touch the gas pedal, but taking your foot off the brake is what it uses to say restart the engine.
And if you're driving with one foot, the idea being you take that foot off the brake before you push on the accelerator, that engine started.
Oh, yeah.
And generally, I mean, it's that quick. And then if you combine that with some of the systems they've got now for the electric boost motor, if you will, it's not really a hybrid, but a mild hybrid, I think is what one company calls it. Then, that electric motor is getting you going quicker, even quicker than what you would with a gas motor.
And different manufacturers create that restart different ways. Those that have the electric boost motor on it, they will use that electric boost motor to restart the engine when you take your foot off the brake, and then the engine starts and runs and off you go. Some of them will use what's called a BAS, battery alternator starter device, that has a big wide belt on it, and they'll use that to restart the engine. And then there's a kind of a third train of thought on that is and this is only on the gasoline direct injected engines, they will stop the piston at an exact spot. And then when you take your foot off the gas, it sprays fuel and lights it with a spark plug, and that's what restarts it. So they use the technology of the ignition system to restart the engine, not some external rotating device.
Right, like a starter up against the gear.
And it's that difference, I think, that impacts that sensation of auto start stop. We had Don had an Audi diesel some time ago. And it literally felt like somebody hit you in the back when that thing would restart. And that was, gosh, that had to be 6 or 7 years ago.
Yeah, it's changed a lot since then.
But the technology has made it much more unnoticeable, though you notice it because the engine
Well, you
stops.
do, but a lot of them you don't. I mean, it's so you're sitting there talking at the red light, and it drops out, and you don't really notice it. So anyway, before we get too much deeper into this, why don't we move in? Let's talk about your car clinic.
Oh,
There you go.
yeah.
We've got a video, don't we?
For car
we
clinic. Last week we talked about how many valves are in your cylinder head, and it goes all the way from, basically no valves with a two-stroke slide valve, all the way up to, I think people are playing around with 7 valves we showed.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about how many cylinders are in your car.
All right.
There were a series of one-cylinder cars out there. The one that comes to mind for me is the BMW Isetta. The one that the front of it opened up like a refrigerator door.
Yeah.
That was a one-cylinder car that they claimed could go 50 miles an hour. It had 12 horsepower. And they said it could get up to 50 miles an hour, but it would also get up to 60 miles per gallon.
Now that looks like a convertible with a picnic basket.
It has a
on the back.
picnic basket
A picnic
on the back.
basket.
Oh, how cool.
It's a Yogi Bear car.
That's the
There you
boo-boo.
go. Oh.
Yogi's got this SUV. And then
He's got the Jag behind it.
Yeah.
There were a lot of two-cylinder cars out there. This is kind of the one comes to mind for me. There were quite a few other two-cylinder cars out there in the world. This is a Honda 600. This actually had a 600 motorcycle engine in it. They sold this in the United States in the 70s.
Yep.
It is the tiniest little thing you've ever seen.
Didn't they name it the Civic? Or the
No,
Civic grew out of
it
this.
grew
Into the Civic.
substantially. That look was the look of the original Civic.
yeah,
but the Civic was half again bigger than this thing was. This thing literally was
Civic
a tiny
was
car.
I had a relative
and the
that
Civic was small. This
I had
thing
a
was
relative
tiny.
that owned one, and it was a fun little car.
Oh, yeah, very, very fun little car. So, that's a couple of cars from the past. Let's look at 3-cylinder cars. Well, Ford makes a 3-cylinder EcoBoost 1-liter
It's a good-looking car.
engine, and this being the Ford Focus. That engine's available in a couple other cars, but 3-cylinder engines are here. So as we go from 1, 2, 3, everybody knows about all the various 4-cylinders are out there. There's inline 4-cylinders, there's V4s, there's flat 4s, all of the configurations of it. But Audi made the 5-cylinder pretty popular. There was a lot of 5-cylinders in the the mid 80s all the way up until the later 2000s of Audi's 5-cylinder. But another 5-cylinder that was out there that you might not remember much of was the Acura Vigor. Do you remember that car? Oh, no, apparently I didn't give you a picture of it because that's not
it. That's not it.
But the Acura Vigor was also a 5-cylinder. It was a little 2.5-liter 5-cylinder, inline 5 from Honda. And then in the I don't know of really any 7-cylinder cars or 7-cylinder engines. There are a couple of prototypes out there. I think if you flip
one more.
No, we're in the wrong world.
That's what came up. That's all right.
We'll keep moving. V8s. Everybody knows V8s. There were some flat 8s as well, but we don't have to see a whole lot of those. V10s. What's the most? Or excuse me, there was actually a W9 made.
What?
So it was 3 banks of 3 cylinders that made a 9-cylinder engine.
Oh.
And that 9-cylinder engine put out 526 horsepower at 7,200 RPM. So it screamed down the highway. And then V10s. There's plenty of V10s out there. This is Jeff just loves the look of the Cadillac, and we're way ahead of where we should be.
Well, it's the videos.
Yeah. So there's a number of V10s out there. You're talking Lexus LFA, Dodge Viper, Lamborghini Gallardo, Audi R8. Those are all performance cars, but you got to also remember Ford built a V10 for their vans, their buses, and what I'll call the open chassis. Mm-hmm. So they either had a truck front on it or
dump truck
or a van.
Hauling
van. Well, yeah, Cube. For like motorhomes and stuff.
Right.
But Ford sold a lot of V10 truck engines. I couldn't find any V11s, but I could find V12s, and those are the 2 pictures Jeff's been showing here. And the V12s, many of them you think about whether they were a flat 12, a V12, or something called a Twin 6, BMW, Mercedes, Ferrari, Lamborghini, Bentley. But also remember Packard and Cadillac offered V12s back in the day. So did Lincoln.
Put an LS in that and tub it out.
No. And it would probably be worth more at auction than it does looking like that.
Moving on.
And then couldn't find any V13s, 14s, or 15s. Or any 13, 14, 15 car engines. There may have been some out there, but I'm not real sure where. And then there is the V16. Cadillac made. We are so out of sequence.
Yep.
Cadillac made.
It is what it is.
Yep. Well, that's the Viper. Mm-hmm. But Cadillac made a V16 way back in the 30s, and that V16. Was also made by Auto Union, and currently you can buy a W16 by Bugatti in their Veyron and Chiron car for like $4.5 million.
Okay, cool. We're gonna move this on here because we're coming up. Don't forget the In Wheel Time Car Show streams on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and InWheelTime.com. Podcasts are available on your favorite podcast channel. The In Wheel Time Car Show will continue after we take a break. We're a little early on that, but what do you think, Michael?
I think we're doing good.
Okay. Do you want to go to the commercial now?
Yes, you're right on time.
Oh, we are. That's awesome. Okay, so I'm going to bring up the commercial, and we're going to hit a button here, and then we're going to go with it. Here we are.
Tailpipes and Tacos, Houston's premier monthly cruise-in, will return Saturday, December 18th to the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy. Tailpipes and Tacos wants to thank all of the participants and fans who've enjoyed the collector cars, hot rods, customs, originals, and resto mods, and everything in between. We'll be taking a break for Thanksgiving and Autorama, but we'll be back for a great Christmas cruise-in on December 18th, so make plans now. You know that Tailpipes and Tacos is the Houston area's coolest cruise-in, a place you'll see friends, family, and the finest cruise-in cars in the Houston area. It all happens at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. Get your ride ready for a very special Christmas cruise-in, Lupi style. It's Tailpipes and Tacos, Saturday, December 18th. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Let's celebrate the Christmas season together at the next Tailpipes and Tacos on December 18th. We'll see you then, weather permitting. Gulf Coast Auto Shield has moved to a more convenient location. Now you can visit John Gray and his staff of dedicated professionals at their new shop on the South Sam Houston Parkway between Belford and Airport in Southwest Houston. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is the best at paint correction and ceramic coatings. Clear bras and custom wraps are specialties that only Gulf Coast Auto Shield installs with award-winning accuracy, and all their services come with a warranty. Lamborghini, Aston Martin, Porsche, and Ferrari owners depend on Gulf Coast Auto Shield for their specialty services, and you should too. The in-wheel time Corvette and Cutlass have both been massaged by Gulf Coast Auto Shield, so isn't it time your vehicle visit their new shop in Southwest Houston? Call John Gray today at 832-930-5655 or visit online at gcautoshield.com. That's gcautoshield.com. Paint, coatings, wraps, and more at gcautoshield.com.
Okay, celebrating 10 years of award-winning Car Talk. It's In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Conrad will have the car clinic. We have this week's automotive news. Howdy, along with Mike, out of this world Mars down on the end in the lovely green shirt. We've got King Conrad DeLong. We've got me substituting for Don. And we've got Don's not here.
When Don is flying somewhere,
not flying. He's
headed to go fly. Don is also not just a partner with us here on In-Wheel Time. Don does the Channel 13 helicopter news.
Yep.
So
He's
when you
the fly guy.
Well, yeah, he's the guy in the back of the helicopter. He's got other people that fly. I don't know if I trust Don flying a helicopter. I've always asked him, if you had to, could you? And he goes, no, I'm sitting all the way in the back.
You can't reach the controls or anything.
Maybe they did that on purpose. I think they know.
So we're not real sure what's going on, but we imagine it's kind of important, and that's why Don
it's news. News is news. And this week in the news, I've got all that right here. I've got automotive news coming up a little later.
Well, this segment, let's. Mike had kind of wandered into SEMA a little bit earlier, but he had 4 cars he wanted to talk about that are at SEMA this year. So
yeah, there's lots of cars there. Don't get us wrong. There's lots of cars.
Do I have a video for you, Mike?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of the custom built shops. We know a lot of people that have taken some stuff out there. We were talking about Randy Borcherding was one of them that's gone out there. But this year, we noticed that there seems to be a little bit more of the OEM, the factory involvement in cars out there and showing off some stuff. And we're not talking about like super customs and stuff, but we're talking about some nice things that actually could come to market at some point.
I think a lot of them are a taste of what is ahead.
Yes.
And that's why they show it at SEMA, to test the interest in it, and showing so many different ones to figure out which ones are going to
exactly kind of get a gauge on what people think, and instead of what do they call it whenever they bring people in and get their opinion?
Study group or
whatever.
Yeah.
See if anybody likes it or not.
Patient.
Yes. So, Jeff, if you could pull up that first one.
Which video is it, Mike?
The one that says the SEMA cars.
There's no SEMA cars on here.
Sorry, might not have downloaded that one.
Sorry,
anyhow,
it didn't come through. You got your band.
Let's create a word picture here, Mike.
Yeah.
Apparently, we don't have a
one
video.
Of them,
drop them a picture.
Yeah. So, are you sure there's not a video over there of some sort?
There's no video, Michael.
You loaded 10 of them.
I'll draw the picture.
No, did not load 10.
So you left mine out.
We did.
Okay. So
here it is.
Hold on, Conrad.
All right. Yeah. So one of them that I really wanted to talk about was it's called the Ram 1500 Rex Runner. Now, this is the vehicle. It's based on the fact that 5 years ago, Ram showed up at the Texas State Fair at the auto show, which is one of the biggest ones in the state. It is the biggest one in the state.
Yep.
And they debuted their Ram 1500 TRX. And that was kind of a desert racer. It had a Hellcat motor in it, big fender flares. I mean, it was a real big show vehicle. Well, they eventually brought that same vehicle to production.
Right.
And you've seen it out in lots of places. I've seen a few of them out in the wild. You've seen some crazy people doing crazy stuff.
Oh, just on the streets. Yeah, just out on the streets.
And they were hauling donkey.
Yeah, they were.
Oh,
they
gosh,
tried
they
to.
can, yeah.
And so this vehicle was built on that premise for the SEMA show. And again, it's got a lot of things in it. I mean, it's got the Hellcat motor on it. It's got some different flares on it. It's built specifically for that. And it's kind of like an enhanced TRX, which you would think was plenty.
But more in line of the Desert Runner, kind of. I believe it's probably a taste of something that's on the way for sure, because Ford presents the Raptor as their Desert Runner, and even they've got that high front low stance to it, high front low rear stance to it to give it that Desert Runner, and I imagine that's TRX.
Well, and I think that's the reason where you come with the idea of the Rex Runner,
like a stadium truck.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of like that.
Similar.
Except with 700 horsepower on the street.
Exactly.
Like you need all that. What fun that would be.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Now, there was an article, I don't know where it came from on my phone, about the Shelby truck, the Shelby Ford.
Yeah.
I saw one recently. I saw
there's a couple of them here in town.
There's a few of them out there. I know. I hadn't seen one.
Oh,
it was
there's usually one at the Houston Auto Show.
Yeah, it was an awesome vehicle. This is a business owner that had it.
Yeah, the two that I've seen here in town is blue, white stripes, and then the other one is a white, blue stripes
This
car.
one was silver and black.
Wouldn't be, what a beast of a truck, though, huh?
It was going fast just sitting there.
Well, anything Shelby touches turns to gold, and I imagine that may have started life as a SEMA, vehicle for Shelby.
And you need a lot of gold bars
it's been
to buy
around
it.
several years, so I don't really
it's
know.
been around quite some time.
It's pretty pricey, I understand.
Yeah. The other thing that really kind of stood out was the Chevrolet. Chevrolet came out there with the Beast, as they called it. The Chevy Beast is actually what they call it. Now, this started out as a Chevrolet Silverado truck chassis. And so they kind of turned that into a desert racing machine. And they've used some off-the-shelf performance parts like a Chevrolet LT4 650 horsepower, 6.2-liter V8 supercharged crate engine under the hood.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is something
Sounds
you can
like
build.
they're trying to duplicate something somebody else may be doing.
Yeah. They got a chrome moly tubular frame and several other things, the long travel suspension that you need for desert racing, a 5-link rear, 37-inch off-road tires with 20-inch beadlock wheels on it. Of course, you got Brembo brakes on it, and some off-road lighting on it, and some things like that.
So, do we have a picture?
Well, if we had the video.
There's another picture. Hold on, let me get Conrad up there.
We had a picture. I have a picture right here. Anyway, so that's their concept of the desert racer. So there's lots of desert racing things going on. And then whenever you step over here and you look at some of the other vehicles, Jeep has always been real big in the desert world.
And Jeep, probably different people bringing Jeeps. There's probably 50, 60 Jeeps on display, it seems, every year.
Oh, yeah. Jeep brought almost that many of them themselves. But this year they brought what they're calling it's a concept vehicle, obviously, but it's a Jeep Wrangler Outlook. And basically it's the JL Wrangler. It's the 4-door. But what they did, they bumped up the roof line in the back, like the old Vista Cruiser station wagons.
Oh.
And they made it 12 inches longer. Now, why would you do this? So that you could make a 3-row Wrangler.
Yep.
And they will sell every one they build.
Yep, they got the front and the second row have obviously got a custom removable top, with a sunroof. And with the lifted roof, with the roof coming up, that if we had the pictures, you could see it a lot better. But it's the old Vista Cruiser, so there's lights kind of on. I mean, there's windows there on the side vent, so they get that
in
same
the extension.
effect. Yeah.
But there's not going to be a lot of room in the back. I mean, you're going to be shoulder to shoulder.
But they have a 3-row.
Yeah.
You might be shoulder to shoulder. And I think the purpose of the Vista roof is because when you look at the back of a Jeep, there's so much room for suspension to work. It rides high, so they have to give that kind of headroom.
Because this thing is it's going to be trail rated.
Yeah.
I mean,
again,
concept,
Jeep
if they built
it,
it'll be trail rated. 20-inch wheels, 37-inch tires, side steps, LED lights, all the good stuff that you would want if you were actually going to go off-road, including black leather and suede seating. And
I imagine after SEMA's over, maybe late December, early January, you'll be able to order yours from your local Jeep dealer.
Well, I mean,
because what I saw of it, it looks like it's production ready.
It does. I mean, and again, it's really a cool idea, just like they did with the Gladiator. All the Jeep accessories, lighting and things that you can get from Jeep, from Mopar, performance parts and things like that. it all fits.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So they're going to start like they did with the Gladiator. The day it comes out, if they come out with it, it's got over 200 parts that you can
Upgrade
change and upgrade,
make yours
and
unique.
personalize, and
The bolt-on. It's just bolt-on.
Oh, yeah, it's all bolt-on stuff.
exactly.
Not
And it
necessarily
fits. It bolts on correctly.
Yeah, it's not aftermarket. It's through.
But a lot of the
Manufacturing.
aftermarket on this, the manufacturers for some time have been giving those advanced vehicles to the aftermarket, so the aftermarket can be kind of geared up, ready to go as well. They don't want to leave that part of their customer behind, because Jeep knows so many customers want to customize their vehicle.
Absolutely. And go down there on the beach.
So
and
they
just-
definitely let them know, because I knew about the Gladiator. There was a number of customizing companies that had Gladiators long before they were available to the public.
And who gets all those vehicles after? Or they just go back to the plant where they made them, or the factory where they made them?
Depends.
Yeah, it kinda
Sometimes
depends.
the vehicles are just given to the company, because that they're going to need to make
Depends on what kind
stuff
of
for the
arrangement
future
they've done.
runs.
Stuff like these, though, sometimes if it's truly a pre-production concept vehicle like this Jeep that doesn't really have that much off-road, it's aftermarket. It
That'll
could
go
end
back
up
to
back
Jeep,
at the
yeah.
factory, and it could actually end up, unfortunately, get crushed.
Oh,
And I was
very
about
much
to
so,
say that they will
crushed.
destroy it. Don had one that didn't have. It had a something in the VIN. I think you talked about it.
If the VIN begins with the letter X,
That means it's a
that means
prototype.
it's not
type.
available for public sale.
Okay.
And generally they don't get out on the street, but they do get out in the personal collection world. Some collectors will find one because they're put somewhere. But and that's where a lot of these kinds of vehicles from SEMA end up. They are in a lot of instances.
Yeah, it kind of depends on how they get to SEMA and the
Right.
process they go through, whether it's, if it's truly the factory's doing it or they're working with a shop. It kind of depends on how they do that to get it there.
Yeah, you said to destroy it. But then again, you see on these things like you do the unicorn hunting, where you find one. This was the jet powered of the future car, and somebody's got it. It doesn't look the greatest, but it was found.
Oh, yeah.
It's there.
Well,
where did it come from?
Right. If it was supposed to be destroyed and didn't get destroyed, every once in a while you hear a story like that. But that's all liability.
There's always the story of the junkyard in the Detroit area where this I know happened. They
That's what
found
he said, junkyard in Detroit in the same sentence.
you know what redundant means?
I'm from
You know what
Detroit. I
redundant
lived in
means?
Detroit. I know.
But where some Motorama car was found,
Right.
or something, and that's actually probably within the last 10 years or so, some of those cars were found.
Yeah.
So that may be, they may have been sent to the salvage yard to get destroyed, but hadn't been destroyed yet. But I think some of these newer vehicles, they're not going to be as collectible in the future.
Well,
as
they're not,
aside.
and I think the lawyers and stuff, they're a little more adamant about making sure they're destroyed
And
whenever.
nowadays,
it
there's
does
more
be.
restrictions and there's more oversight on what happens. Not only with
It's called litigation.
Yeah,
It's oversight by lawsuit.
but they're still out there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, not in the old days.
So what
to
else
speak.
did they have at SEMA?
The other thing that I thought was interesting, again, this all kind of goes together with all this off-road concept that seems to be going on. A lot of people are interested in that, I guess, partially because we've all been locked up for so long. Everybody wants to get out and stuff. So
The
what?
way he says we're all been locked up.
Yeah, we've been locked up for a long time. So Toyota.
Yeah, but 7 to 11 doesn't.
Attica.
Yeah. So Toyota came up and they brought out the Tacozilla.
What?
Tacozilla.
I'll take two.
Coming
with
to a corner near you in a construction site.
I'll
It's
take
Toyota's.
two with an iced tea.
Yeah, maybe I'm not saying that right. Tacozilla? No, it's Tacozilla.
Tacos. Spell it.
and it's
Spell
Made in San Antonio, right?
Tacozilla.
Tacozilla.
Tacozilla. And so
Ay, ay,
and that
ay.
really, if you go back to the early days of the Tacoma, the mini trucking scene, they were considered tacos. I mean, that was just the nickname for the little Tacoma truck. Well,
How about Tacoma? How about
No.
Tacomazilla?
Yeah, it grew up.
The Tacoma was a midsize, wasn't it?
It is now.
Right.
But when it was originally came out,
It was a mini
the little,
truck.
mini truck, little compact truck. So anyway, this is a Tacoma Camper. And really it's kind of based on the 70s and 80s Overlander, because again, if you had a picture and stuff, it's got a big camper kind of built into it. It's a micro house on wheels here. Where's our picture? Show the picture again.
Draw one.
Yeah, draw us another one.
We're trying to get a picture for you.
But it goes again with all the outdoor living and the outdoor lifestyle that we've been kind of talking about, and we've seen over the last several years really kind of came up a little bit, and as more people got involved in it.
There you go.
Yeah, so it's
give more outline.
And this has got the camper built on it, and it's got a pass through from the main cabin into the camper. Got a big, like saying, skylight and all that stuff for a natural light.
See, I had that on my truck. I had a GMC 1990 GMC where I had the pass through. I had the camper shell, and I had a rubber boot that went around the window.
Yeah.
To keep
and you can kind of crawl through. Well, this has got a little more advanced pass through in it to make it a little more of a.
It's an off-road camper.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's got the engine immobilizer. You can't hear it.
Yeah,
but
it comes with a refrigerator in the back of the truck, and it's got all kinds of things in it. Again, it goes along with all this. You left off the refrigerator. All this off-road lifestyle. Again, getting out and about, and people wanting to do more.
And there's the Jeep roof.
We have a Jeep roof.
Well, you said
not on the Tacoma.
No, not on the Tacoma, but if it was on the Jeep.
But they could use that now. He just created one.
Yeah, multi-purpose vehicle here.
There you go.
So that was something I thought was interesting, was these manufacturers, particularly with the outdoor lifestyle, outdoor living and idea and stuff. I mean, there's lots of race cars there. There's a lot of road racers. There's 2 or 3. All the tire manufacturers have these drifting courses set up.
Yep.
But I thought this was rather interesting.
You look at what Jeep has done in the industry since the 50s, with the Jeep, just the CJ and all of that. And then, I'm going to go to, I remember when the Cherokee first came out, the original Cherokees, and everybody at SEMA had a Cherokee. I mean, there had to be 150 different modded Cherokees at SEMA those early years and that is really, to me, what defined the small SUV industry.
Sonny and Cher, New Cherokee.
Yep.
No, just Cher.
No.
Oh, gosh.
Show me a picture, Conrad. Okay, well, while we're having a lull here, you are on the In Wheel Time Car Show. So if you need to write us complaints or,
it's Don at InWheelTime.
Info at InWheelTime.com.
No, just Don at InWheelTime.com.
And you'll get a hold of us. I think Conrad
They'll all go to
monitors
Don's email box.
Yeah, we'll forward them there.
Forward them to him.
So he won't feel left out after he missed part of the show because he had to go to real work today.
Well, that stuff happens. That kind of stuff
somebody needs to check the news and see what he's going to do.
I don't think I want to know.
Yeah, if he's leaving on a Saturday morning, it's either bad or good. You never know.
When it overtakes us, we won't have to worry about it, right?
We have the door closed. We don't know. It could be like a swarm of locusts out there or something.
Yeah, it could be, but we don't care because we're in here and
Don
we're in Wheel
I don't
Time.
think Don wants to fly during a locust storm.
Yeah, could be. Could be.
No.
Okay, so
that
was good.
Got over there?
Well, I've got.
So you talk about what the manufacturers are doing, and you would think in today's we talked earlier about inventory at dealerships being so low. So you would think with inventory being kind of low, it would have a big impact on manufacturers' profitability. Well, Honda, who doesn't build a lot of trucks, but they do build a lot of cars, their profits dipped by 30%.
Oh, my.
This fiscal year, a lot due to the chip shortage and production constraints and stuff. But Toyota didn't have the same problem. They still had issues with semiconductors, but Toyota's profits grew by 48% in the second quarter of the year. So Toyota did something to hit a home run, and Honda kind of laid a bit of an egg.
I think they're coming out with respect to Toyota, the SUVs. I think the SUV market is what held their ground on that. They make a good-looking SUV.
Well,
I like it.
Yeah.
I really do.
Well, they do that in trucks. They've got trucks. Honda doesn't. They've got the Ridgeline, which I like, but that's the extent of what they've got in that regard, and that's a very profitable segment for most of the manufacturers that are in it.
And they're supported by Lexus, so that's.
Well, and you mentioned Lexus. Lexus announced in 2023 they're bringing back the Integra with the same flair or panache that the Integra had originally.
There's a nice word, panache. I like that, Conrad.
P-A-N-A-N-C-E. It's I know it because there's a tailor up near my
It's a
house. That's the
spelling bee?
name of it. Yeah.
Okay, Mike, your word is
Word for the day.
So they're bringing back the Integra, trying to bring back that small, compact sports car.
Well, but it's kind of like what happened with the Supra.
Well,
yeah. And then they've got the F-Type, which is a super duper, almost
Well, that
verge of
is
being
a-
an exotic.
To me, the F-Type, when it first hit, I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
To me, it's kind of gotten a little soft. It's a little more
just
of
the performance version of any Lexus would be an F-Type.
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
But there was a specific little hot rod they made.
Yeah, and they still make one, but
Yeah.
now you got to go after it. Now you can get a 300 horse version, I believe it is, versus a 400 version. And before it was like it's 400. It's either all or nothing.
Right.
So it's kind of like, oh, people like this, so now we're going to make
But
it a little
bringing
different.
back the Integra, I think, is going to be a real hit for them.
I think, yes, name-wise, absolutely, I agree. But I go back to the Supra, which a lot of people like. It is, but I don't.
The Supra, they badge engineered that with BMW.
Yes.
And a lot of people believe they did a really good job of it. It's got a BMW inline 6-cylinder in it. Now they offer it in a turbo 4-cylinder as well.
And Don had the
in
yellow
the
one.
GR, and he was impressed.
Yeah,
Oh,
he liked it.
I haven't driven one.
It looks good. Don't get me wrong. It just, again,
Well, you
we're
have
old
it
enough.
too. You
We're
had
old enough. Yeah, we're old enough to remember what the original one was. Now you take some a younger person that's 23, 24, 25 that's looking at that vehicle, which is their target market.
Mm-hmm.
Then this is really cool.
Yeah, the target market for a $50,000 car is a 23-year-old.
Fresh out of college.
Think about that.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just telling you.
Yeah, yep. Well, good for them.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Fresh out of college. And then who else? Somebody. Oh, it's kind of like the Mustang. Again, they here's the Mustang name. People like me have this vision of what a Mustang is, and so now they've got the electric Mach-E. I agree. Hauls donkey, real quick, real fast, in a hurry.
It
But
shouldn't be called a Mustang.
well, that again is my opinion.
You need to drive
But
me a donkey. You need to drive me-
the younger crowd that's looking at that car that I think is their target market.
Yeah, but the Mustang's still out there, and the Mustang is viewed as a performance car, and they want the Mach-E, I believe, to be viewed as a performance car, because I'll tell you, an electric motored vehicle can be quickly a performance car.
And they've done that with
high-performance
that one.
car.
Yeah, it's real
now,
fast.
aren't they offering a sport version of the Mach-E as well?
I think so.
I know they offer that.
They've had it at the drag strip, and it's really fast, really quick, in a hurry.
Well, that was not really a prototype, but that was specifically built for that.
Yeah.
For the
Again,
1,000-foot
It's a
quarter
great
mile.
marketing tool. Here, yourself.
Well, they built a couple, then they raced them against the normally aspirated vehicle.
Oh, yeah.
Mustang.
Bob Tasca, there's
Yep.
a couple of real good videos of him pulling like a 300-foot wheelie in
then
the
dropping it
electric
down.
Cobra
Yep.
Jet. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Well, Bob's got a lot of dealers.
So
He's got a nice
there's
dealership.
there's a lot of race value. Performance value in those cars. I agree and I understand. And we talked to the guy that was up in where was he at? Washington State, or up in almost into Canada, where he's making his electric motors look like small V8s.
Small block.
Yeah, that was just
Well,
posted somewhere.
and how
yeah.
creative is that when you look at all these people that are doing the EV mods, or taking a resto mod and putting an EV in it.
Yeah,
And putting a cover that looks like an elephant motor on it.
Yeah, and it looks pretty good. So you can imagine that in a 32 Ford, without a hood on it or a cowling on
Yep.
it, and you just driving down the road, and it looks like it's got a V8 in it. Now,
And
then you need the
it
big
hauls like it's got a blown nitro V8 in
yeah,
it.
you need the big speakers on the top so that you can make a
Sound,
recording of the
yeah.
sound. as
They
you go
have
by.
that.
They have
that.
that. They have that you can hook up to your ALDL
yeah.
connector, and it will go based on throttle. And you can select your engine sounds.
My
you can
son
select,
had that.
You can select a big exhaust Honda Civic, or you can select a V12 or a blown V8.
And you don't need to put the coffee can on the exhaust pipe
You
anymore?
can do that. You're just wasting a coffee can. But my son had that. His company vehicle was a Lexus hatchback. I can't remember. It was HL or HC something. And he had an app. He could listen to this. It sounded like a
Listen to my
top fuel car. It was hilarious. But,
Speaking of
they do
hilarious,
that.
have we got the events calendar that we can do maybe?
Yeah.
Okay.
And events are kind of a little bit squishing down. You know, we still have Nifty 50s. This is probably, if not Randy's last weekend, near to it. And that's, again, Grogan Mills Mall in the Woodlands, the Kemah Car Meet, 6 to 9 p.m. every Saturday night in Kemah. Now, there is also going to be a I'm trying to think of in Dayton, Texas, the first Saturday of every month, they're going to be having a meet in Dayton, Texas, at the city park next to the Jack in the Box, I believe, right off of Highway 90. And again, that's going to be 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. every Saturday night. The first Saturday of every month in Dayton, Texas, and that's something new. I was just reading about that. Other stuff coming up is today is the Rebel Roundup in Needville, Texas. Excuse me, you're Needville. This is in Needville, Texas,
and we
right
are in
off of Violet
Sugarland.
Street.
There you go.
And then we will be. We'll do that later.
Okay. And
right.
There's Come to the Hoolie Hut tonight. We'll be playing. Red Car will be playing down there from 7 to 10. It is Bike Week down on the island, and I anticipate Mike is going to bring his mom down, and Conrad's going to come down and go to the Hoolie Hut and listen to some classic rock.
Cool. Well,
nice.
If we do, I'm
little
not
plug on my behalf.
Yeah. I'm not going to be coming in the Dodge Demon, though.
Oh, is that what you're
Is that
doing?
what you
Yeah. No,
man.
I don't. I wish I did.
Well, you got a side.
That's what I was going to talk about for the next segment.
Okay. Well, I've got that right here.
Are you ready?
The band one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's go to Mike, and there's Mike, and then we're gonna do go. You ready?
Yes.
All right.
So just as a point of history, so the Dodge Demon was actually rolled out at the 2017 New York Auto Show. That's when they officially announced it as a 2018 Challenger SRT Demon. Now, this was 840 horsepower from the factory. Now, this is a step up, a heavily modified version of the 707 horsepower Hellcat motor.
Wow.
That you could get, and you can still get, actually. So it kind of basically it's a drag car from the factory. Is what it amounts to.
Is that
a
like
street drag car?
The rear seat delete and all that?
I don't remember. No, it had a rear seat.
But don't they have a version you can get a rear seat delete?
Yeah, in the Demon.
Yeah.
So it's got a lot of features on it and stuff. And so the idea that you hear about is that it was banned by NHRA. So again, this is how we got into the banned racing. And the reason is that this car is capable, according to Chrysler, and NHRA validated it, 9.650 seconds at 140 mile an hour in the quarter mile. The fastest street car that you could ever get from an American auto manufacturer.
They say when you put the stickies, because along with your Demon came a box with fatties and skinnies in it.
What?
So it had slicks and skinny front tires.
It wasn't his date.
And skinny front, I guess it came with skinny front tires to take it to the track. And they say it pulled the wheels off the ground from the factory.
Yeah, it will. I saw it actually do that at one of the events that I had a chance to go to. And Tim Kaniskas, whenever I had the last time I actually had to sit down and record an interview with him, we were at an event for the Challenger with the Hellcat motor. The Demon came shortly after that. And he's a Challenger guy at the time. He was restoring a 1971 Dodge Challenger. And so he was all about it. It was a great interview if you happen to look it up. And so when we got a chance to see some of the other events when this was actually rolled out up there, then, you can go ahead. So, again, it will pull the wheels, and you put the slicks on it, and it will run in the 9. So that is what got it banned from NHRA. NHRA came out and said, you cannot race this car as it is on our tracks.
Right. Because anything, once you go under 10.5
You need
at
a
an
full
NHRA
cage,
track,
all that inspection.
you need a
Flat team.
certified cage.
That's a menacing picture right there. I like that.
Yeah, and it's really cool.
In your rearview mirror, get out of his way.
And
You're in the wrong lane.
if you look at that, because of the Hellcat's got heat extractors and the different type hoods on, but this has got the one big hood scoop on it.
I'm going to take my Farrah Fawcett
lots of
picture off
air.
the wall and put that up.
Well, yeah, and if you are a Mopar fan and that pulled up behind you, you would definitely get out of the way and watch it go by because no doubt he's probably got some speed.
And smell the high octane as you go by.
So you can see it right there. I mean, this is fully functional. It's got to have that airflow on it, and that's how it makes all this power with the supercharger. And it comes with a trans brake. I mean, there's all kinds of things that literally make this a drag racing car. Now, if you want one of these, they only produced them that year. If you want one of these, it just so happens I know where you could buy a brand new 2018 Dodge Demon.
Oh, pray tell.
Yes, sir. There is a place, and I wrote it down.
There is a place.
I think it's Huntington Beach. Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep,
I've
Ram.
been to
but
Huntington
how much
Beach.
does he want for it? In Huntington Beach,
He
probably has $250,000.
He has multiple. He has, I think I saw 6 of them on his website, including the bright yellow one. They're all brand new. He bought these
That's the
vehicles back
California
then,
color.
and he's been saving them.
Oh.
And now you can actually go out and find them on his website.
He's trying to make a killing on him. How
Well,
much?
I tried to find out how much it was. And, of course, you want to buy one? No, dude, I'm in Houston. I'm not going to come down for a test drive tomorrow.
This is the only place you can get one.
Yeah. So, anyway.
We'll fly you here if you'll drive it home.
I got a coupon.
I wish.
I got a coupon.
I got coupons. I got coupons.
Does that come with 2 free oil changes?
Yeah, you just got to bring it back in.
And a
Well,
full
that thing
tank
takes
of
like 10
gas.
quarts, doesn't it?
But he literally has these on his lot, and the best I could get out of him unofficially was 180.
Oh,
Which
wow.
is about double what they stickered. I think they stickered it like 92.
Something like that.
Hubba,
Yeah, and
hubba.
I was kind of impressed that that's all they really wanted for him. But these are brand new
Well,
vehicles that you could buy.
He'll have to roll one of those over Barrett Jackson through the auction or the Meekum auction and see what kind of money he could draw for it.
You know what? I don't think it would. I don't think.
I don't know if he'd draw 180, but
because isn't the market? It's up and down, and I think it's soft right now.
Well, it may be, but you got to think about what this is. This is the Demon.
open MSO, so it's brand new, so it still has an open manufacturer's.
And John at Meekum would probably be the guy to answer that, give an idea of what.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah, maybe
and
so, but-
whether or
but-
not they've had one go through, yeah, I'm sure they could.
I mean, you could still get. I mean, yeah, right here it said MSRP of $85,000 on
Okay.
it. So
You're close. You're right there.
Can you get $200 for it? If you wait out. I mean, again, can you go build one of these? Can you go build yourself a 9-second street car? No, not for. Well, you
180.
might could for $200, but point being, as far as a collector thing, I mean, who's going to take and put one of these in your collection with 20 miles on it? I don't know how many miles they've got, but they're brand new, so they can't have very many miles on it. And then
And never drive it.
never drive it. And
Tell us about
here's
the
a
fobs.
picture of the
and
key
there are
fobs.
there are people who do that.
Yep. So it's got the two fobs. So it's got the black one, so that you're only running the 500 and I think it's 525 horsepower.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
And then the red one that does say Demon on it because it's different than the regular SRT.
Well, I think just
red
the color
fob.
alone would be able to tell.
Yeah, but
The Hellcat does a red black.
yeah, it's got a red one as well on it. So, but it doesn't say Demon on it.
Well, I thought the Demons were not also legally street driven.
They are street legal.
Okay, I don't know. For some reason, I
Yeah.
thought I thought they were track only, and then NHRA goes, "No, you can't take them to my track anymore."
No, they're not track only. They are street legal cars. So that's another car that's been banned. There's a picture of the engine. It does actually have the Demon logo on the case for the blower system on it.
Supercharger.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So anyway, that's another banned car. There's a picture of the listings. You can go to Huntington Beach and buy you a brand new one.
And if you
Okay.
have any other ideas for banned cars, we'll take it at Mike at InWheelTime.com.
Okay.
Back to you, Jeff.
Back to me. And what we're going to do is we're going to let you know that the In Wheel Time Car Show streams on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and what? InWheelTime.com. That's right. Podcasts are available from your favorite podcast provider. The In Wheel Time Car Show continues right after this.
Tailpipes and Tacos, Houston's premier monthly cruise-in, will return Saturday, December 18th to the Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy. Tailpipes and Tacos wants to thank all of the participants and fans who've enjoyed the collector cars, hot rods, customs, originals, and resto mods, and everything in between. We'll be taking a break for Thanksgiving and Autorama, but we'll be back for a great Christmas cruise-in on December 18th, so make plans now. You know that Tailpipes and Tacos is the Houston area's coolest cruise-in, a place you'll see friends, family, and the finest cruise-in cars in the Houston area. It all happens at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. Get your ride ready for a very special Christmas cruise-in, Lupi style. It's Tailpipes and Tacos, Saturday, December 18th. The In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Let's celebrate the Christmas season together at the next Tailpipes and Tacos on December 18th. We'll see you then, weather permitting.
Gulf Coast Auto Shield has moved to a more convenient location. Now you can visit John Gray and his staff of dedicated professionals at their new shop on the South Sam Houston Parkway between Belford and Airport in Southwest Houston. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is the best at paint correction and ceramic coatings. Clear bras and custom wraps are specialties that only Gulf Coast Auto Shield installs with award-winning accuracy, and all their services come with a warranty. Lamborghini, Aston Martin, Porsche, and Ferrari owners depend on Gulf Coast Auto Shield for their specialty services, and you should too. The In-Wheel Time Corvette and Cutlass have both been massaged by Gulf Coast Auto Shield, so isn't it time your vehicle visit their new shop in Southwest Houston? Call John Gray today at 832-930-5655 or visit online at gcautoshield.com. That's gcautoshield.com. Paint, coatings, wraps, and more at gcautoshield.com.
Got to turn on the microphones. There you go. And bring all that down. A little crazy. So it's the In-Wheel Time Car Show, your weekly go-to all things automotive place. Ahead, we'll have the events calendar, which we've already done. And the stories making automotive news headlines this week. Howdy, I'm Jeff Zekin, not Don. Okay, you know, Don's a little taller.
Got more hair. About the same color. But.
Same color. And we've got Mr. Mike Mars at the end of the dais down there. Awesome young man. We've got King Conrad DeLong, another awesome young man.
Jeffrey would be sitting here.
Would be here.
But we need more Jeff,
so we got him over here.
Jeff is sitting in.
And Don is out flying. He's out doing his flying, and hopefully he's got a parachute.
Yeah, well, we imagine there's something quite important in Houston that they called him.
Not. You know,
they called him in to go airborne this morning.
Could be.
So we hope whatever it is, everybody's being safe. And
it could be a parade. It could be.
Oh, the art car parade's going on today.
Is that today?
I believe so.
Okay. And it's a lovely day here in Sugar Land.
Lovely day in the neighborhood. Speaking of lovely days.
Okay. We're going to go to.
Let's bring in.
Wait a minute.
You got it, Mike?
You got a sound here, Michael?
I got a Zoom right here. You ready?
Yep, let's bring him up.
How about that? Hello, good morning.
No.
We're there?
Are you there? No.
Did I turn him off? We turned him on.
We got
to turn him on.
He is on.
Turn his sound on. Now we can hear you.
Beautiful. You there?
Good morning.
There you are.
Scared me.
Hey, you know what? You know how did Don get out of work today?
I don't know.
He got called in. I was beginning to wonder if you got called in as well, if something was going on, but I really think it's the art car parade.
I tell you what, we are down in Galveston this morning. What a beautiful morning, by the way, fellas.
Yep.
And it's so good to see you guys this morning. We're down in Galveston ensuring that the the Lone Star Rally is safe. I'll tell you a little preview of last night. I mean, I know they had some problems in Houston last night, but down here in Galveston, all is well. Of course, we want to continue. I hate to be a dapper of bad news, Mr. Mars, but we want to continue to tell folks, look, enjoy your weekend and your holidays for that matter. By not drinking and driving.
Amen.
And we still have that problem here in the state. And I just wish people would adhere to our message because we were not short of arresting drunk drivers last night. But as far as a safe rides going down to Galveston and individuals traveling safely going down to the Lone Star Rally and across the state for that matter, it's been a good weekend so far.
Well, let me ask you. Speaking of that,
yeah,
do you actually have and I can't imagine this, but do you actually have a lot of drunk drivers on motorcycles? I mean, I could wreck a motorcycle without drinking.
Yeah, I mean,
easy.
it's hard enough on two wheels when you're sober.
So I'm with you on that. I'm telling you, you will be surprised the amount of drunk drivers we have driving or operating your 18-wheelers.
Oh,
no.
Man, I'm telling you, with the
Shouldn't have told me
motorcycle
that.
rally down here, people want to have a good time, and I get it. But you have to do it. You have to do it sober.
You got to do it responsible, right? You know,
Yeah.
that's why they have Uber. You know, let somebody else drive for you if you've overindulged.
Yeah, we'll
Hey,
be.
did you guys know that tomorrow will be a 20-year, I hate to use the word anniversary, but tomorrow will be a 20-year anniversary stint of this state basically not having a day where there has not been any fatal crashes. There's been a fatal crash in this state for 21 years straight.
Every day.
You know, every day. So we're trying to combat that. I tell people driving is the most dangerous thing you'll do every day. I've said that on this program for years.
Yes, you have.
And one of the contributing factors that I pulled today, Mr. Mars, is, of course, folks not wearing the old seatbelt. Now, look, now wait, I'm not wearing my seatbelt because I'm parked on the side of the road.
Yeah, you're not driving.
Yeah, I'm not driving. But, I mean, and unfortunately, we're starting to see this in our young kiddos. We worked a fatality crash over in Wharton County, one of our neighboring counties, where 3 young ladies were ejected from their vehicles. Neither one were wearing a seatbelt. Sometimes I have to get on my grandmother, bless her heart. She'll drive, and she still drives like this, Mr. Mars. Look.
One arm.
Well, that's so when your brethren pass her, they see the seatbelt out, they might not pull her over. But if they check her license plate number, they're going to know who she is. They're going to pull her over anyhow.
And I like how you're picking on Mike. I love that.
Well, you know,
I got you, man. Hey, you know, Mike, he's kind of our relief sometimes. I'm not saying he's a puncher bag, but he's so easy to pick on.
Well, Sergeant Woodard, you make a great point about seatbelts. People don't understand that seatbelts save lives. Airbags only minimize injury. The seatbelt is what's going to save your life by holding your torso, your waist in place. The airbag just keeps you from getting more injured.
You're absolutely right, my friend.
And it's,
so we have, of course, you guys already know we have daylight saving time. We have an extra hour of sleep tomorrow.
Yep.
I don't have to rush into church tomorrow. I got an extra hour.
There you go.
We tell folks, well, the firemen, bless them, a lot of the safety education guys with the fire department, they always tell folks, you know, use daylight savings time as a reminder to change your battery, your smoke alarm or whatever.
Right.
But I want to challenge our listeners. Do me a favor and also add in checking your recalls.
Amen.
Yep.
So if you went to the NHTSA website, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration's website, and /recalls, NHTSA/recalls, you type in that VIN number of your vehicle, it's going to pop up the recalls of that particular vehicle. I had one on my truck, which was a seatbelt recall. Please do that and check that yearly, because if you're like me, you don't check that mailbox as frequent. My son, bless his heart, he's the number number 1 defensive player in the state, number 4 in the country. So our mailbox is full with literature. So I don't check the mailbox frequently, but when I checked that website, I typed in my VIN number. There it was right there. I had a recall on my Ford F-150 on the seatbelt latch. So please check those recalls. Those safety provisions are there to keep you safe within the vehicle as you're traveling from point A to B and back to A. Let's try to add in every year during daylight savings time, checking the recalls of our vehicles.
Well, and don't think that just because you checked it and you found that one, that there's not going to be another one. Like the Takata airbags.
You need to check with some frequency, and that because recalls are always being entered in the system. Well, don't think, Sergeant Woodard, don't think you're going to get away with saying that without a follow-up question. So, where is he going to go to college? Where is he thinking of going to college?
Man, he's
Boomer
only
Sooner, Boomer Sooner.
Well, hey,
Let's
I
go,
enjoyed
Blue.
that visit. I enjoyed that visit, but guys, man, I'm driving all day. I cover 8 counties. So if he went up the road, don't reach through his phone and choke me. But if he went up the road to A&M, that'll be an easy commute for me and Mama.
Yeah, it's 99 miles.
It'd be a great school with such a powerful alumni community and a place of honor for him to play.
Yeah.
As much as
but I'll tell you what, in the meantime, his tail's getting out there and he's gonna cut that yard. He's gonna worry about all that.
And then he
I'm
can
being serious.
and then he can think about University of Michigan. There you go.
Hey, be honest with you, that University of Michigan visit was a good visit.
Yeah, that's
hey,
right.
Real quick, fellas, let me ask you this: Do you think? Okay, I'm going to throw this out there to you. Do you think driving at night through the years, in your opinion, because this is my opinion, well, I'm going to put out a fact. Do you think driving at night has gotten more dangerous?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I've always thought driving at night has always been more dangerous than driving during the day. But
so throughout, what we figured out is not only driving at night has become a challenge to our drivers due to the influx of cars on the roadway. Of course, we know we're creeping up on hunting season.
Yep.
So the deer are running. Me and the game warden talked about that Thursday. But man, all the lighting on these vehicles. So you have a lot of these individuals driving around with these illegal halogen lights, the little light bars.
Right.
And state law says that you can't have no more than 4 lights operating on your vehicle in the front at one time.
Oh, wow.
Oh, interesting.
Well,
Did not know that.
So if you're like me, you're driving down the road and you have my friend with the nice jacked up Chevrolet 1500 or whatever he has, and he has on that light bar. I mean, you're potentially blinding the person on the other side. You have a lot of our vehicles now that have tremendous lighting systems,
right.
The car that we have. I mean, the lighting system is just crazy bright, and it's legal.
Yeah,
so
they've gone from the old incandescent bulb to the new. Then they went to halogen, and now let's blow halogen away, and we go to these LEDs and these reflectors.
There's super gas in them.
It's that bright white, almost a blue light that comes at you, which can be quite distracting while you're driving.
Yeah, it very well could be. So we want to tell folks to maintain, of course, your sanity while you're driving, but make sure that you're paying attention as you're traveling on the road, because you got to have 3 things when you're driving. Number 1, you got to have that cognitive thinking, so you'll be able to process what's going on around you. Of course, visual, being able to see what's in front of you that's going to you and away from you. And, of course, a manual. So being able to operate the motor vehicle with your hands and feet. So, I mean, driving is a task, and I love doing it. I'm not a big – I mean, I like to fly too, but me and a couple of troopers, we went to Washington, D.C., 2 weeks ago for the police memorial, and we drove from the great state and drove all the way up to DC, and we did what we did, and we drove back. And driving is just it's calming to me, but it's dangerous, man. And of course, for all of our listeners here on In Real Time, I mean, we enjoy that luxury, but please be mindful of it, and also present those habits and those attributes to our kiddos. Oh, yeah. Because I hate to tell you this, friends, man, the fatalities are rising with our kids. Last year, in this state, we had 3,881 fatalities. Fellas, right now, I checked my count. We're almost at 3,600 fatalities.
Oh, my God.
And I hate to say this, we may surpass last year's number. I'm not sure. And I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but fellas, it's hard when you go knock on these doors after working these crashes, and you tell a family member that your loved one's not coming home. So we take it pretty serious, and lack of better terms, we take it home with us. So
well said.
Be safe.
Well said, Sergeant Woodard. I've got a couple of questions. What are you driving right now? What is your company vehicle that you're in right now?
Really?
New Tahoe.
So we have in the fleet. I have a grocery getter right now. I got a Chevrolet Tahoe.
No, what you're in right now?
That's what
you're,
he's in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. Grocery getter. All right.
Yeah, grocery getter. But we have a muscle car in the fleet. It's a Dodge Challenger, but it's only for show. And these cars, man, they'll get up and go. But man, our days of, you guys remember when you were younger, you would see that old state trooper with the Mustang or whatever. Well, now it's all about efficiency and safety. And unfortunately, if I was hit, fortunately, this Tahoe was sustain and absorb better than that Mustang or that Camaro would.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a lot of airbags in it. We want to keep you safe, Sergeant Woodard. Yep. We really appreciate what you do for us every day. We love you for it. And thank you very, very much for everything that you do for us. Go Blue.
So let me ask you one more quick question before we run out of time.
Who's in the back seat?
Don.
Yeah, that's where Don went.
Don's in the back seat. We need to send you a picture of Don. That would be way too
Put it in the window.
Yeah. One of those, flat Don pictures, right there. So much for my question. I was just going to ask you. There's some new laws come into effect at different times of the year. We haven't been able to connect with you since
It's been a while.
I was just wondering if there was anything that came to mind that went into effect. Like, we didn't know about the illegal headlights that you could only have 4 on the front. If there was something else that might pop up.
Then there's those spokey things, those large spokes.
Yeah, those
giant hubcaps.
Wheels.
Right, those giant spokey deals. Yeah. So listen, with those spokey deals, you see some of those deals, you think, man, that has to be illegal. Well, state law says those guys have so many inches, and this is, it also falls under the umbrella for guys towing a large load on the back of his truck. They have so many inches to the left and so many inches to the right that they can operate a motor vehicle. And, believe it or not, fellas, those guys, sometimes they are right there to the T. But it's based on the width of the vehicle. One of the laws that was pertinent that came up was an addition to the school bus lighting law. So check this out. So we know the whole school bus thing. When the school bus stops, they present the stop sign, and we all have to stop. I mean, I have
absolutely.
Not only do I have that oldest boy, but we have 2 younger kids too.
Stop and look around.
Stop and look around. Well, one of the laws that was inundated, which was pretty interesting to me, is now the school system can now drop off electronic equipment and meals to kiddos that are homeschooled or whatever, or maybe the child is going through the COVID deal. So what I tell folks is now you probably need to watch out for these school buses more than just in the morning time in the afternoon.
Oh, okay.
You could have a school bus activating its stop sign to drop off food to a child, and this could be 11 o'clock in the afternoon.
Or dinner time when you're dropping off a dinner meal. Yeah, well, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah, and it's so many laws out of the 666 laws that were inundated. It was not many that changed within traffic other than, take a look at this one. So we have a racing problem in Houston. That's not a secret.
Yeah.
We have a lot of individuals that come to Houston. They shut down the interstates, areas like I-45 and the Beltway 8, or areas like 59 and Little York, I-10 and Highway 6. They'll shut down the interstate and they'll conduct their illegal racing. Well, state law has changed now, saying that, hey, if you are participating in a race, hey, we're not only going to put you in jail, but we're going to take your vehicle because it's in commission of the race. So it's just so many different laws that are on the books to protect us, of course, as Texans and as citizens, to make sure that the roadway's safe for us to drive, fellas.
Absolutely. Well said.
There's a reason for that. I mean, and I I'm considerably older than you. And I don't mind admitting that years ago we did some street racing.
Considered older than all of us.
But, we went out someplace where there was nobody around. You never heard about people street racing in the 50s and 60s and having wrecks. I mean, they did on movies, but, it just didn't happen. And
well, think about this. Hold on now. And then, back then, you were respectful. You didn't shut down the whole interstate.
No, you went someplace where there was nobody around.
So you would
go like at midnight out in the middle of nowhere because.
And I guarantee you, if that police officer, that trooper came out and said, "Fellas, y'all break it up," y'all pretty much drove off.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
If we even saw him, we would kind of ease off a little bit, because we didn't want.
Well, like my friend Archie Bunker said, well, I think it was Edith. They said it together. Those were the days.
Exactly. And it's just, and I think you're right. The respect for what's going on and people has definitely changed. And so, I wouldn't dream of going out and shutting down an interstate to drag race.
And now they have these TV shows that they show that they go to a
street race.
Yeah, street racing.
Yeah, they claim it's street racing and stuff. Yeah, we've had some offers to interview people. We won't do it because we don't want to promote that.
We don't want to promote it.
Yeah.
Sergeant Stephen Woodard with the Texas Department of Public Safety. Woo-hoo. We love you. We love what you do for us. We thank you very much for it. Much respect. Enjoy Galveston this weekend because I know it's going to be a hoot.
I got one final question.
Yeah.
And thanks,
Sergeant Woodard. I'm going to be down in Galveston at the Hooly Hooly Hut. My band is playing there, so come on by. I'll get you a cup of coffee and introduce you to some folks. And again, 7 to 10 tonight. I don't know what your shift is, but we'll be there.
I plan on being there tonight. If you. And I may come in street clothes since you're talking about a bar.
There you go.
But if you can, Mr. Morris, text me his number, and that'll be great.
Oh, cool.
Fellas, I appreciate you always inviting me on In Will Time, but I got to go. I got to get – Don's getting a little unruly.
Sergeant Woodard, God bless you.
Thank you very much. You bet.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
He's always a hoot. He's always a hoot.
Wonderful.
Always, I learned something from him every time.
Absolutely. Okay, so we are coming up on the top of the second hour, and I've got buttons to push and things to read and all kinds of stuff. So where are we at, Mike?
I think we're pretty good. Our next guest is rolling in here. We're going to get situated
That'll
there.
Be 10 o'clock. And online, a couple of people have asked for us to give out Sergeant Stephen Woodard with the Texas Department of Public Safety. We did a couple of times. It might have just been in the conversation.
Yep. Sure.
But he comes on and joins us. Not as regular as we like, but we love having him on.
He's very busy.
Exactly.
I think he's
protecting
quite busy
and serving. But we tried to get him on, a week or so ago, a couple of times. And his schedule changes.
His schedule's always in
because just like Don, he gets called out sometimes. Things happen, and he's got to go.
We always appreciate him coming on and sharing his knowledge and his passion for what he does.
Yeah, I think that would be fun if he showed up.
Because I don't drink when we play. That could be tragic.
Well, apparently.
You haven't seen me play. Okay.
Maybe that could be good or bad.
Yeah, we're going to go to top of the hour, Mike.
Yep.
Yeah.
Commercials.
We need to run a couple of spots, and then we'll come back.
Okay. So this is In Wheel Time, Car Talk Show, your weekly go-to, all things automotive place.
We'll be back after this.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Exactly. Thank you so much.
Tailpipes and Tacos, Houston's premier monthly cruise-in, will return Saturday, December 18th to the Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy. Tailpipes and Tacos wants to thank all of the participants and fans who have enjoyed the collector cars, hot rods, customs, originals, and resto mods, and everything in between. We'll be taking a break for Thanksgiving and Autorama, but we'll be back for a great Christmas cruise-in on December 18th, so make plans now. You know that Tailpipes and Tacos is the Houston area's coolest cruise-in, a place you'll see friends, family, and the finest cruise-in cars in the Houston area. It all happens at the Loopy Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. Get your ride ready for a very special Christmas cruise-in, Loopy style. It's Tailpipes and Tacos, Saturday, December 18th. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Let's celebrate the Christmas season together at the next Tailpipes and Tacos on December 18th. We'll see you then, weather permitting. Tailpipes
Coast Auto Shield has moved to a more convenient location. Now you can visit John Gray and his staff of dedicated professionals at their new shop on the South Sam Houston Parkway between Belford and Airport in Southwest Houston. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is the best at paint correction and ceramic coatings. Clear bras and custom wraps are specialties that only Gulf Coast Auto Shield installs with award-winning accuracy, and all their services come with a warranty. Lamborghini, Aston Martin, Porsche, and Ferrari owners depend on Gulf Coast Auto Shield for their specialty services, and you should too. The in-wheel time Corvette and Cutlass have both been massaged by Gulf Coast Auto Shield, so isn't it time your vehicle visit their new shop in Southwest Houston? Call John Gray today at 832-930-5655 or visit online at gcautoshield.com. That's gcautoshield.com. Paint, coatings, wraps, and more at gcautoshield.com. Gulf Coast Auto Shield has moved.
Let's give John Gray two spots there.
There you go. There you go. So that's triple the pay.
So
that's right. He gets lots of credit. He does a really good job. He's helped us out
bringing
a lot
us
of
back.
things.
You know what? I'm going to bring us back in.
Top of the hour, almost
Here we
the
go.
top of the hour.
I'm
Bring
pushing
us back
buttons. How about that? Isn't that awesome?
Well,
you were almost there, Jeff.
We heard the bell ring.
All right, let's do this again. Ready?
Got to hear the car zoom off.
All right, In-Wheel Time Car Show. Oh, that's a different one. Hold on. It's the In-Wheel Time Car Show. Go to all things automotive place. Ahead, we've got Conrad doing stuff, and we got Mike doing stuff, and we got me doing stuff, and all right here in this room.
And we're going to be joined by with Kelly Funkhauser.
I have no idea.
From Consumer Reports is going to enlighten us on.
We turn this down.
On driver assist systems and what the industry is saying about those and what Consumer Reports has learned about them.
Is Kelly ready?
Kelly's ready. Hi, Kelly. How are you?
Hi, Kelly. Sorry about all that, but you're on.
We lost her. You had sound. I heard her talking.
You got to turn her on, Jeff.
There Jeff, she is. How about now?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, there you are.
Hey,
Jeff.
How are you guys this morning?
Not good.
we got it. Jeff is kind of.
I'm substituting.
Yes, he's our substitute.
You know, when they have a substitute teacher in class, all the students go crazy. That's what's happening.
But we like that. We like when there's a substitute because then we can go crazy.
Yeah, they do. Yeah,
that's right. That's
join the crowd. Thank you, Kelly.
Yes. Don had to. He got called out. He's a fly guy for one of the local TV stations, and
he does helicopter reporting.
Yeah, something happened.
So something's going on in Houston.
He's
and
a doctor,
and
you need to go into emergency surgery. That's what it is.
That sounds better.
Next hour we'll make that up.
Yeah, we'll use that next hour. So anyway,
his parole officer called. He had to go.
Sergeant Woodard's got him in the back of the DPS car.
Okay, this is Kelly's time.
Okay, yes. All right. So Kelly, how are you?
I'm fantastic. Thanks for asking.
Well,
Thanks for having me.
Joining us today.
Where are you located at?
I'm in Connecticut.
Okay,
very good.
The home of Consumer Reports.
There you go.
Yes, New York is really the home, but the good stuff, the Disneyland, the test track, that's in Connecticut.
Oh, we like that.
Yeah.
Probably for tax purposes.
And I like the way she said that, the Disneyland.
I know. Yeah. I like that. I have to remember that.
Yeah.
So tell us what Consumer Reports is doing regarding today's driver assist systems.
Sure. So we released a report this week where we broke down kind of the state of the market and took a deep dive into the true availability of driver assist systems, particularly those that are very similar to autopilot. So you've probably heard of Tesla Autopilot, where it can control the steering and the speed. Well, what we did is we took a look at all of the model year 2021 vehicles and found that actually 50% of them have the same capabilities of being able to control the steering and the speed, just like autopilot.
Yeah, I know Cadillac has had one now for a couple of years, and I think they just now have introduced it on some of the GMC trucks. That might be for 2022 as well. But I know it seems like this automated driving system is being brought into lower and lower price level cars. Generally, it was always in the super luxury vehicles. Now that it looks like they've validated it in the upper level cars, and they're pricing it so they can bring it down to the lesser priced vehicles.
That's right. And we actually took a look even at within each model, the trim lines, so the packages that you can get on your vehicle. We even looked and found that the equivalent car that Consumer Reports we would buy for our test program, which we tried to buy the most representative of the trim line that a consumer would walk into the dealer and then leave the dealership with. So rather than, the highest trim with all the bells and whistles that all of those other auto reporters get, we get the one most representative. And what we found was in that sample, it was 46% of vehicles had it. So it's not even, you have to pay to get all of the packages and all the features. It's actually very mainstream.
And in your testing of the systems themselves, what did you guys learn as far as functionality of the system?
Yeah, so the systems perform still, there's a wide spectrum of that. Most of them are designed to keep the car kind of at or near the center of the lane line. Some are better than others, if that's the metric of trying to keep you right at the dead center of the lane. But most of them are capable on highways, type of, if you're road tripping or something like that, you're on a long highway with, not too sharp of curves. Most of them are able to, perform very well at steering and controlling the speed of the vehicle.
And a lot of them, if I'm correct, actually use the onboard camera system to identify lines in the road, as well as they have the adaptive radar that literally is a radar to distance and speed sense the vehicle in front of you. And that's how they kind of keep you in lane, is through the camera system.
Yeah. You got it. Exactly. So cameras are one of the most common ones that they're kind of looking ahead and determining if there's a lane line, where it is, and then trying to keep you, essentially away from it or in between two of them. Radar, you're right. A lot of cars have that for the adaptive cruise control. So there's a lot of tech in cars these days.
Now, one of the things that we did not say about Kelly, that she is the program manager of vehicle interference testing and head of connected and automated vehicle testing for Consumer Reports. Is that correct?
That was correct last week. I actually have a new title this week.
Okay.
But it wouldn't fit on the business card.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge.
So
big
we've
name.
consolidated it because that's quite a mouthful. And so now it's just the manager of advanced vehicle technology.
Just
yeah,
stuff.
exactly.
Manager
so just
of
put
stuff.
it all into it, fewer words. You got it.
So representing Consumer Reports, how much, when you talk about advanced vehicle technology, how much of what you look at, I assume, and test is all production, but do the manufacturers kind of give you a quick invite, like GM would take you to Milford and show you the next evolution of something?
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah, actually, I get the best of all of the worlds, really. So yeah, we purchase through our secret shoppers anonymously all of the vehicles for our test program. So they are truly buying what someone off the street would go and purchase. And again, they're looking for kind of that mid-ish trim, whatever the highest volume or most representative is.
Right.
In addition to that, we do get all of the sneak peeks. So we are still, a media organization. And so for us to stay on top of what's coming and what to keep our eyes on, we do also rent from the manufacturers some of their press vehicles. And so, we're getting those top of the line, all the bells and whistles so that we can see, what's coming before it may even be in production. But we don't test any of those. We may write, kind of like a first look type of impressions, but we make sure that we don't test anything that has had, direct manufacturer knowledge that we own the vehicle.
You wouldn't think they'd skunk works you, do they?
Oh.
Do a little something special to it.
Exactly. That's exactly.
You talk about the auto drive features, and there's been, a lot of hoopla about them, but there's also been some pretty bad press about them as well. One thing people need to understand is it's a camera that's looking at reflective lines in the highway. When the reflective lines in the highway go away, the system generally automatically throws a warning and then shuts off. but you still have to pay attention.
Right.
So that's actually a best case scenario. Oftentimes, well, the cameras aren't even necessarily looking for the reflective line. They're really looking for contrast of anything that could be really interpreted as a line. So think of it in like black and white, right? So if they see some contrast that is generally in the forward direction, then they're going to, perhaps interpret that as a lane line. But think of shadows now, right? And we're still talking black and white. Shadows, if there's, power poles or lines that reflect on the road, it can have all these mistakes. And to your comment of, they'll give you a warning and shut off. They have a lot more confidence in themselves than they probably should. And so one of my favorite party tricks at my Disneyland trek is we actually have some lane lines that end before the edge of our paved roadway. And then there's, kind of some gravel. And so I love having, my goal is to have someone scream if they're in the car with me. And so I'll let it go.
Well, she's a fun person to drive with.
It's always a good time at the track. So I'll have, the lane keeping system on and I'll let it keep going. The lane lines will end. There's still pavement and it doesn't shut off and it literally runs you off the road. And, we've cut the trees, but if there were trees there, who knows what could happen.
Well, and we could tell you are from the Northeast, as I was born and raised in. You talk with your hands.
Oh, yeah.
So having hands-free driving works well.
So that's funny. And I'm actually from Utah, which is apparently a talking hand state too. But that's funny because in the BMW, I do run into issues because they have gesture control to use to change the volume of the radio and stuff. So I'm constantly just blasting the radio or changing it when I talk with my hands if I'm on a call in the car.
Now they have funny. I've seen television commercials where they're advertising the hands-free driving.
Oh, yeah, that's the new GMC.
Right, the new GMC, and they're doing a Queen song where they're clapping their hands. And I just think that is the wrong impression to give. My opinion. I don't think they should be showing people that you can drive no-handed. Of course, they're on PCH in California.
Right.
They're
on a well-set-up road that the system understands.
And then, of course, the disclaimer on the bottom: "Don't try this at home."
Yeah,
but
you can't read that. Even with my glasses, you can't read that.
Hey, I take my hands off the wheel to sing that, so we will rock you anyhow.
I just think that's a bad idea, my opinion. So
I think also I agree with you. And there was a Super Bowl commercial this past year advertising Super Cruise, and it was Edward Scissorhands. So he literally didn't have hands. Yeah. And that's not perhaps the best message to put out there in front of a lot of viewers at the Super Bowl. But currently, like I said, these systems really aren't top notch. They're not able to, turn them on and then the driver takes a nap by any means. And so you do have to be paying attention. But I do want to give some credit back to the Super Cruise system because they are really the only one right now that has an infrared eye tracker right in front of their steering wheel. And so they, at a minimum, make sure that the driver's eyes are awake and looking at the roadway. Whereas most of the other systems out there don't have this capability and kind of rely on the driver to maybe, get a warning and then tug the steering wheel a little bit. And we've found through, our collaborators at MIT that oftentimes what happens is if you get a warning on a screen inside the car, not looking at the roadway, you get the warning, you look at the warning in the car, tug the steering wheel, and you may never even look at the roadway, but the car will continue operating with those systems.
Yeah, one of the more recent ones I had, it was and Sergeant Woodard's gone now, so I mean he's working, so I'm not too worried about that.
Yeah.
But so I do some of that. I don't have Disneyland to play on, so I got to unfortunately make use of.
He's doing it on the live streets.
Yeah, what you do, what you got to do,
Yeah, that's fun too.
Yeah.
He's shutting down I-10.
Lots of people are screaming.
Yeah, particularly whenever I wake up, so they keep me awake by screaming. So I did run into that one time. I was driving a vehicle on a press event and took my hands off the wheel to kind of see how the center lane worked. And one of them, it would literally work itself up to where it just got harder and harder going back and forth. It didn't really stay centered. And it would literally throw itself off the road if you let it go far enough. And then another one was going around a curve, and there was a driveway in the curve. So the white lines were gone, and all of a sudden it didn't know what to do. And it just, just said, okay, I'm going this way. But
it can only be so smart, and depending on what they're using to track, that's why I think this infrared, looking at the eyes to make sure the lids are open, as well as I'm sure they're looking for motion of the eye, that you're not just kind of staring off in the distance,
you're
or
sleeping
your eyes
with your eyes closed,
and you're reading something, but you just happen to be looking in the right direction. These systems, they present them at a level, my opinion, above what the consumer should accept them to deliver. I mean,
well, they set unreal expectations.
Exactly.
And the car, I think it was the one that Don just got out of, when I had it, coming down the interstate, long, Interstate 10's really long and straight. Take your hands off of it. It's very good at keeping you, as you mentioned, centered.
Between the lines.
Between the lines. And I sat there, and I probably went 6 miles.
Wow.
And it finally said, hey, are you there? And if you got to put your hands back on the steering wheel. So all I had to do was, touch it.
A little bit of input.
And it let it know, okay, I'm still here. And off I was again.
What was it going to do if you weren't?
That's what I didn't know. I didn't know. At that speed, I didn't want to find out. But, it's a good question. What would it do?
Right. So you're right at the heart of the problem there, is that a lot of the systems do a really good job for a long time, right? Many miles, in your case, 6, but they can go, these are highly capable systems. And I've gone many more miles without really having to, take over in any way or assist it. And that's the problem, is that, not only do they have the perception in perhaps marketing or even before you get it, but once you're in the car and you've seen it perform well so much, it's so easy to kind of check out, or okay, the car's got it, I'm going to pick up my phone and, answer this text or something. And that's why you need at least this, camera or something to make sure the driver's looking at the road.
Paying attention.
Yeah, you got it.
What have you got in the hopper? What are you working on new now? Anything?
Yeah, so we're actually, we're on this topic. We're collaborating with other advocacy and consumer organizations and others to kind of research the, development of these driver monitoring type of systems. As this is the manufacturer's systems on the cars are just going to improve quickly, and we can see they're widespread already too. So we're trying to, find a way to ensure that, at a minimum, the driver's eyes are open and looking towards the road.
So have you developed, because, reading Consumer Reports, you guys do a really nice structured analysis of this functionality. Well, with these auto cruise systems, that's kind of a new world. Have you guys already somewhat structured your analysis page? Because you're kind of looking at things you never had to look at before in that regard.
Yeah, totally. It's job security for me. All this stuff coming on. Exactly. Yeah. And this report that we just released this week is kind of the first step towards that. We really kind of broke down exactly what these systems do, how to turn them on in the car, what the buttons look like, what they're called, all of those types of things. There is starting to be a little bit of convergence, as they're being developed of, there's 2-ish lane keeping type of systems. There's the late reacting one, like you're crossing or about to cross a lane line and it kind of nudges you either aggressively or gently, still there's a range, versus these other lane keeping that are more of a centering type of continuous system. So in our report, we break that down so that going forward, we can, use that information to help consumers understand which one, or if they have both, what the expectations are and how to know if their system's broken or not, kind of understand what their car is actually capable of.
Let me ask you from a kind of, it's about the same thing, but so I'm getting all these messages from my car that telling me, are you awake? Put your hands on the steering wheel, or you're drifting off to this lane and everything.
Shut up and drive.
Yeah, pay attention, fool.
It's on.
And do at some point, does all this input become actually a distraction in and of itself to the driving experience?
So it can, and that's something that we're looking at closely as well, is, the advancements of technology and screens and touch screens in cars, they can become a distraction, and perhaps they're not even the best solution out there. Your phone in your hand, you have all of this precision, when you're controlling it, but now you have this large screen when you're driving down a bumpy road and you're trying to hit something in the center of the screen without even, being able to reach the edge to stabilize your hand. All of those types of things are, something that could create new risk that we are paying very close attention
to. And those screens are becoming larger and larger.
Right, that's what she's saying. You can't even reach the other side of it to set
and then you go to hit something and you hit a bump in the road and now, you've hit something else.
Yeah, put it in reverse. My seats go into high mode and all of a sudden.
And then when you look at
all of a sudden it's doing stuff you don't know.
And then you look at how all the different manufacturers feed back to the driver when to engage. Does it shake the seat? Does a light flash? Does a sound occur? Does a steering wheel jiggle?
Yeah.
All of these different types of inputs that vary from manufacturer to manufacturer. Do you think there'll be any standardization coming in the future?
I've already seen over the past couple of years, a lot of these started out with beeps. Everything was beeping. I used to have a presentation called "What the Beep" because everything was beeping at me.
We need that segment.
What the beep? Exactly. And so I've already seen what you just mentioned is now we're seeing more of maybe steering wheel vibrations or seat vibrations as to not annoy the drivers and everyone else in the car, which actually can be embarrassing. It's like, hey, are you a bad driver? Because everything's beeping at you. But yeah, exactly. So we're starting to see that. And the steering wheel vibration is kind of what's rising to be the most popular type of warning for these systems.
Cool. And because the seat vibration, different ones. I mean, literally, it kind of shook you out. Some of the early ones,
I had a loaner
shook
car.
You out of the seat.
Right now, you got the mirror when you've got someone next to you. The little light pops up on the mirror either side, and then the loaner cars with Cadillac, I used to have the side of the bottom seat would vibrate.
Right.
If there was an indication of another vehicle, either right or left. So I would kind of ride close to that because I kind of like that.
I would ride to the left a little bit so they vibrate on the left side.
Yep, there you go. And then, of course, like Conrad said, the steering wheel would jiggle too.
Yeah.
And that scares you at first when you
the first time you do it. Yeah.
Some of them are really scary. They're more of like a shudder,
right?
Vibration.
And then
I'm losing control.
Yeah. And if you're distracted at that moment, how do you react when that happens? If you're not really thinking, do you slam on the brakes and then there's an issue from somebody behind you? Do you jump up and jerk the wheel and now you're changing lanes?
And to your point where you said it's going to be standardized, well, just think of the rear view camera.
Right.
Things like that.
Yeah, it takes a little while.
With big help from Consumer Reports getting that over the finish line.
Thank you very much.
On it.
Good job.
So Kelly, in your future here as Advanced Vehicles, are you doing anything with autonomous doing any analysis, I'm sure you are, of autonomous braking systems? Because that
absolutely
tends to be a bit of the rage at the moment as well.
Yeah.
It is, yeah. And the good news on that topic is that several years ago, we worked with IHS Insurance Institute as well as NHTSA, the government, to create a voluntary agreement where manufacturers signed on to say, I promise we'll have this tech on our vehicle by September 1, 2022.
Yeah.
And they're on track to really have that as standard equipment. Again, you don't have to pay all the big bucks, to get the packages. We want it to be standard because it is safety. So under a year, that's going to be essentially any new car you buy, you're almost guaranteed to have it.
Kelly Funkhauser with Consumer Reports. We really appreciate you coming on and enlightening us on what Consumer Reports is doing in the industry as far as vehicle safety.
Driver assistance,
and vehicle safety.
And Disneyland.
And Disneyland.
Exactly.
Yeah, how do you get tickets to that Disneyland?
We're going to come up and do a remote.
Sometime.
There you go. Kelly, thank you so much. We do appreciate you.
Thanks for having me.
Yep, see you next time.
Bye.
It's always good to have Consumer Reports on the show. They bring so much knowledge of what the industry, where it's moving, but also how the industry is changing.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And she is fun. I mean, she laughs and has a good time.
Well, she's a wealth of information, and she's passing that through us and to the folks that listen to us.
And I want to see you go for a ride with her make you scream
I'd love
like
to.
a girl.
I'll scream like a little girl. You know what? Let's set it up for Don, but don't tell him.
Oh yeah.
Let's set it
Well,
up
I think Don's screaming in the back of in the back of Stephen Woodard's patrol car at the moment.
Well, we just want to and we want to thank Kelly again. So if you need to get in touch with us, shoot us an email. The address is info@inwheeltime.com, or you can send it direct to Mike at info@wheeltime or Conrad. Anything that you want to send to me, send to Mike. So you can do that. And you can also get us at, info@inwheeltime.com. And moving on from this segment, we're going to...
Well, let's talk about the race calendar.
Okay.
You know, the racing season's kind of coming to an end.
And then we need to get a car review in as well.
Mike's car review?
No, Jeff's. Because Jeff's got to go in place of Don because Don had to did his early.
Okay, so we're going to do this. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do it all myself. Since I'm good pushing buttons over here and doing all this technology.
Oh, my God.
Here we go. You ready? You ready, boys?
Go for it.
Get it, dude. Get it.
Here we go. I'm going to start out with this and freeze that. So this is a 2010 PT Cruiser. It's a 5-passenger vehicle. And believe it or not, fellas, I had one of these as a company car.
I'm not surprised.
A long time ago.
Not a bad car.
No, well, not a bad car, and not a good car either. So we'll get onto that. So what we're going to do, the Chrysler PT Cruiser is a front-engine, front-wheel drive, small family car, compact car manufactured and marketed internationally by Chrysler in a 4-door hatchback wagon from 2000 to 2010. I'm going to move the picture going forward. Here we go. And we're going to have just a hodgepodge of photos. The PT Cruiser also has a GT version, which is the GT Cruiser. It's a high-output turbocharged hot hatch variant of the PT Cruiser introduced in 2003 model. When Chrysler's PT Cruiser first arrived on the American market in April of 2000, it was an instant hit with consumers because of the styling and a combination of retro, mixed modern features. But exactly what does PT stand for?
It's a good question.
Yeah,
I never did know what it stands for.
Officially, the PT stands for personal transportation, Mike. But the initials also, personal transportation, also designate the car's platform. The Neon was based on the Chrysler PL, or platform, the platform low, while the Cruiser was based on the Chrysler PT platform for the platform tall. So you got low and tall. Doesn't make sense to me. Originally designed as a concept car, the PT Cruiser was first introduced to the American shores during the 1999 North American International Auto Show in Detroit, Michigan. The design was so popular that it went into mass production in April of 2000. Check this out. Brian Nesbitt.
With the monkeys?
No, that's Michael Nesbitt. This is Brian Nesbitt, probably a long-lost cousin. A 27-year-old graduate of the Art Center of Pasadena and the staff designer at Chrysler designed the PT Cruiser. Mr. Nesbitt mixed modern designs with the looks of panel trucks from the 30s and hot rods of the 50s and 60s. Car and Driver magazine named the PT Cruiser 2001 North American Car of the Year. Check out that monster. Did you see that doing that wheelie? That was awesome. It is a 2.4-liter, 4-cylinder, 4-valve per cylinder, 150 horsepower, 165 foot-pounds of torque. It is a 4-speed VLP transmission, front-wheel drive. It's 19 miles per gallon in the city, 24 on the highway with a combined of about 21, 22 in that area, in that range.
And the basis...
Hold on, Conrad.
Once you bring my sound
There
up,
you go.
The basis for the car was a Dodge Neon.
Yeah, we went through that.
Okay.
Yeah, we went through that.
I'm sorry, I was outside.
So with that in mind, as you got all the typical things for the interior. No, you can get leather and all that good stuff if you want to pay for it. Back in the day, the base price was anywhere between $18 and $24, depending on what it was. It gets 4 out of 5 stars on the vehicle's rating system. 6 exterior colors, 1 interior color, and the interior color is pastel gray. So there you go.
That rear engine one that was doing the wheelie.
Yeah, the wheelie.
I was at an event one time, actually up in the Austin area, and he was there doing some runs.
Yeah.
And so I got some pictures and stuff. That's a really cool car with a Hemi sitting, blown Hemi sitting in the back of it.
Yep. Yeah, in the back. Good stuff.
I liked it.
Yep. And that's it. We're going to move on.
for this segment of In Wheel Time.
For this segment of In Wheel Time, that's right. Keep talking. I'll push the button.
Are you going to do the cruising calendar?
Yeah. Well, no, we're going to
get it in the time.
We're going to do the race calendar.
Okay.
And tonight is, or this weekend is. Phoenix, the finale, or tomorrow night is the finale for NASCAR.
Is it at night or during the day?
No, it's during the day.
Okay.
I'm stumbling.
That's okay.
Also, Formula One is in Mexico this weekend. They're in Qatar on the 21st, Saudi Arabia on the 5th, and the finals in Abu Dhabi on the 12th. IMSA next weekend, the finale at Road Atlanta, and I'm hoping that is a prelude to our next guest, Alec Udell, who I think is probably going to be going to Atlanta for the weekend.
Right. We're going to catch him in the next half hour.
I think he went the other way, but we're fixing to find out.
And then also on November the 11th is the final NHRA event in Pomona. Mm-hmm. And Erica Enders is within 32 points of the championship.
She'll get it. She's got my support.
If you watched what happened in Las Vegas, there was a lot of whining and complaining because Elite Motorsports brought in a lot of other drivers to drive other elite cars, and Greg Anderson and his team brought in a lot of other drivers to drive, and they're all trying to block Greg Anderson, who went out in the first round.
They're all mixing up the standings,
trying to
for the levels,
advance to the next, the next
whining
championship.
and crying, but if you can do it, if it's a gray area, if it's not written black and white.
As far as I'm concerned, go Erica Enders. I want you to be the champion. You're a friend of the show.
Yep.
And we cheer you on all the time.
Okay. Are we ready, Mike?
Yes, sir.
Let's do this. Hold on. I got to make sure I've got this all up and about and going crazy. Here we go. Ready? Commercial break. I think.
If you turn the sound on, we can listen to
We'll be taking a break for Thanksgiving and Autorama, but we'll be back for a great Christmas cruise-in on December 18th, so make plans now. You know that Tailpipes and Tacos is the Houston area's coolest cruise-in, a place you'll see friends, family, and the finest cruise-in cars in the Houston area. It all happens at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. Get your ride ready for a very special Christmas cruise-in, Lupi style. It's Tailpipes and Tacos, Saturday, December 18th. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there too. Let's celebrate the Christmas season together at the next Tailpipes and Tacos on December 18th. We'll see you then, weather permitting.
Gulf Coast Auto Shield has moved to a more convenient location. Now you can visit John Gray and his staff of dedicated professionals at their new shop on the South Sam Houston Parkway between Belford and Airport in Southwest Houston. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is the best at paint correction and ceramic coatings. Clear bras and custom wraps are specialties that only Gulf Coast Auto Shield installs with award-winning accuracy, and all their services come with a warranty. Lamborghini, Aston Martin, Porsche, and Ferrari owners depend on Gulf Coast Auto Shield for their specialty services, and you should too. The In Wheel Time Corvette and Cutlass have both been massaged by Gulf Coast Auto Shield, so isn't it time your vehicle visit their new shop in Southwest Houston? Call John Gray today at 832-930-5655 or visit online at gcautoshield.com. That's gcautoshield.com. Paint, coatings, wraps, and more at gcautoshield.com. Gulf Coast Auto Shield has moved to a...
All right.
Here we go. Hold on. I got to get the intro.
Give us a little music here.
I'll give you a little music right here, my friend. Here we go. You ready?
Yeah, ready. It's going to be about 3 seconds.
All right. Celebrating 10 years of award-winning car talk. This is In Wheel Time Car Talk Show, your go-to, all things automotive place. Coming up, we've already done that stuff, the calendar and all that good stuff. We didn't do history, did we?
No,
we're going to do history.
Auto history's coming
and
up.
we've got a fantastic guest coming up.
A fast guest.
Fantastic guest. Howdy, I'm Jeff Zekin. We've got Mike Mars on the end. We've got King Conrad DeLong.
You wanted more Jeff. Jeff is sitting in 2 seats right now.
I will push your buttons. That's what I'm going to do.
He can definitely push the
Mr.
button.
Armstrong is absent. He does have an excuse. He brought one in. I'm going to turn this off and go there.
Something must be happening in Houston because Don was
slide it down so it fades.
Don was called off for helicopter duty, so he's flying around the city somewhere doing something. We're not real sure what yet.
We don't even know. He could be on standby. You never know. But
So if you know what's happening in Houston, tell us on Facebook because
we're locked in.
We have no clue what we're doing.
We have Kolaches and Suze. We should have brought Suze in as a guest.
Oh, yeah. Where's she
She's
at?
back behind me over here. She's looking for the Kolaches.
Oh.
Yep. Okay. And we got a guest.
Yes.
We do have a guest.
Talking about the race calendar and stuff, we have with us local guy, done extremely well. You know, it's really nice to see somebody local that does really well like this.
Yep.
Mr. Alec Udell.
Yay.
Come out of the woodlands.
He's waving. He's not talking to us. He's going to use sign language. I can see this.
I've got him up.
We'll turn.
I don't think he said anything. Hey, Alec, how are you? Well,
Doing
apparently,
great.
Oh, he's doing that on purpose.
No,
talking.
I don't think there is.
How about now?
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
It was me.
Hey.
I was going to say, because I had him in my ear.
Sorry, Alec.
So, do I assume
That's okay.
you are headed to Atlanta?
Yes, I will be there. So I will be there working with Kelly Moss Road and Race with the Porsche Cup team. It's the finale for the season.
Okay.
And they've got 3 races this coming week.
Perfect.
And you'll
Yep.
so you'll be in the Porsche Cup car the whole time?
Yeah, so what I drove this year in the Mercedes and
Right.
AMG and then in the Lamborghini Super Trofeo. And so the 2 series, the Super Trofeo series finished up at Laguna Seca earlier in the year. And then the Mercedes AMG, the team that I'm driving with, is jumped up now into the GT3 series with 1 car. So I'll be there coaching, working with a few of the drivers on the team that I have done a lot of work with over the years. So I'll just be there. Unfortunately, not in the seat for the most of the weekend, just a little bit in the practice sessions. But I'll definitely be at the event.
Doing some of the
He
setup.
was name dropping the cars. I like that
Well,
part.
he
You
should
know,
be.
he's got
That's
all
what
that.
he's supposed
Absolutely.
to do.
Love it.
Kelly Moss Racing.
Yep, you bet.
Yep.
And
exactly.
And so tell us more about what all you're going to be doing this weekend with.
Sure. So a lot of what we do on the coaching side, whenever you go to the track, is helping with the setup, kind of talking the drivers through different turns, different techniques in the cars. So I focus a lot on breaking down the techniques to be very simplistic so that we can apply them. You know, when you're driving on the racetrack, there's a lot of information coming at you. And so we want to be able to pick those things apart and pick, 1 or 2 things that you can focus on that'll allow you to go faster. And so we'll have, sometimes there's time for a coach to get in the car and set like a reference lap. And that gives us something to compare to through the weekend. And then I'll be on the radio as well, kind of talking through different corners, helping spots, those types of things as well.
Are you guys allowed live telemetry on the car? Because I know when you talk about setting the first lap for the coach, you're actually coming back and I'm assuming downloading the data from the lap so you can see entry speed, braking point,
right?
All of that, steering inputs and stuff. So you get an opportunity to not necessarily overlay the coach's lap to the driver's lap, but to a degree overlay that lap, trying to help that driver go deeper, turn earlier, turn later, and whatever.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So in the Cup Series, the only series in IMSA really that is allowed live telemetry is the WeatherTech Championship, so kind of the endurance racing series. And they are specifically allowed it for, if they have a tire going down or oil pressure fail, that kind of thing.
Right.
In like the sprint races or in the GT4 series, those cars aren't allowed live telemetry. Okay. It's kind of a cost control measure because the live telemetry adds another, depending on the system.
Well, not just the system, it adds other personnel. Now you have to have not just the electronics on the car, the person to install it, the person to diagnose it, the person to read it, the person to display it. So now you've got 5 extra people just because.
But couldn't you make the case that it would be of a safety standard rather than just cost effective? Yes, there's a cost and everything, but more of a safety factor for the individual drivers and teams.
Yep, could be.
Yeah, and you can. A lot of the cars have like tire pressure monitoring systems in them now, and so the driver can page through the dash, and so then it becomes part of the driver's role to be able to understand what's going on with their individual car. And when you get higher into when the races aren't as long, you typically aren't going to have as many things that are going wrong. But when you've got, 8, 10, 12, 24-hour races, that's when you really need those systems, because you can, have issues that you can monitor through the race and figure out, okay, do I need to pit and change something, or do we need to check something? But if you're not, like in the cup racing, they don't pit during the race. It's just full out sprint race. And so there's no real opportunity. If you're going to have a failure of some sorts, you're out of the race basically. But it's not the same in the endurance series.
So when you're doing the endurance racing, can there be a point where, let's say, because if I remember correctly, where you were with the Mercedes, you guys actually had to sit in pit X amount of time, and that time varied if you were one driver or two driver. Was I paying attention?
So that was actually with the Lamborghini. That's correct.
Okay, I'm sorry, with the Lamborghini.
Yeah, no, that's okay. And so that series, because it's kind of it's a two-driver series format, and so it can be a two-driver format, I guess is a better way to describe it. And so the theory for why there's a difference, if you have one driver, you stay in the pit lane for 3 seconds longer. And the theory is because the driver that's in the car knows the exact conditions of the track, knows exactly what they're getting themselves back into, and is primed and ready to go. The driver getting in may not be ready as much as the driver that's in the car already. And so I guess they've established at about 3 seconds is the good kind of range as to what they need to hinder the single driver cars to make it equal and give that other driver an opportunity to get up to speed with the track and exactly where it's at.
So when you're in there for that, whichever level of time you have to spend, is there an opportunity to, I'm not saying that you do, but is there an opportunity to take a quick download of the data in the car so it can be reviewed in the pit box, so you can look at the analysis of the ride versus just the driver's seat of the pants?
Totally. And there is, I would say that there is time, but I don't think it's allowed within the rules, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. And so when it comes to the application as well, especially like a lot of the drivers that I work with are, some of the drivers are aspiring young professionals, and then other drivers are gentleman drivers. And so giving too many things to focus on in a session as well can be detrimental, because then you don't get anything done. And so that's why we take and we download the data afterwards and really do a pretty heavy analysis as to, hey, here are all the things, but then we come up with those 1 or 2 points that are like, these are the most crucial elements right now that we need to get better. And then we can move on to something else.
If you do this is your greatest ability to change time.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
What a coach, huh? Yeah. Wouldn't you love to have a coach like that?
You're
but
ready
I understand
to drive.
You also do some other subject. I know that you do some online coaching as well through a website that you provide yourself. Is that correct?
Yes. And so Kelly Moss, the team that runs the Cup Series and the team that ran the Lamborghini that I drove in this year, we have teamed up to build out a kind of a live driver membership where people can come in. We do training sessions 3 times a month. So we have a theoretical approach with a bit of like a training and a presentation. And then we have a practical application. So this month we're talking about passing and defending. And so our first one was talking, theory of setting up a pass, theory of defending. And then we have a break. Next week, we'll talk, not this coming week, but the following week, we'll talk about, okay, here are some passes from in-car videos that we've got from the team. What is good, what went wrong, how can we learn from these things? And then the third session is a Q&A. So it gives people a little bit more access to people like myself or someone that they may not necessarily get to. We've got a ton of knowledge with the racing teams, especially the professional teams, that a lot of times just gets kind of thrown away each year because we're focusing on, the next year.
You should have run this session a couple of weeks earlier. Maybe the guys in NASCAR last week.
I was going to say, rubbing is racing.
I think a few things kind of the passing and being passed kind of blew up. So what's the website? Somebody, if they wanted to become a member, how can they do that?
Yeah, definitely. You can go to onlineracingcourses.com.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Got it.
And what do you have in store? Do you have any ideas what's going on next year?
Yeah, what do you got in your back pocket there?
Yeah, what I've got in the back pocket. So I'm working towards, I think, another year possibly in the Lamborghini. That's kind of, I think, what's coming up. What I tend to like to do is, yeah, I know it's challenging, right? We're just working out the details. Obviously, they haven't been quite finalized yet, but that's what I'm working towards. I would like to be back. In
we're losing you.
Yep,
we lost you.
You're kind of chopped up on us. We're going to drop you off. Do us a favor. Give us a call right back, and let's see if we can
enjoy the GT3 racing, which is kind of the next step up, and that's what I'm working towards. But at the moment, GT4 race is exciting because there's not too much like aero wash that you get, in the wake of another car. You don't lose the front end too bad because the cars aren't super dependent on force through the turns. So it makes the race.
Yeah, Alec, we're losing you. We got there's some audio issues going on. We're going to just.
We lost. Oh, Nope, there he is.
Okay, now he's back. So let's see if you can get him back.
Well, he's back, but he's muted. You got to unmute, dude.
No, he's not muted.
Well, he was on his end.
Either way.
Okay.
All good now.
There we go.
Okay, there you go. Yeah.
Sorry about that. I don't know what happened.
You moved or something. We're not sure what.
It's Don. Don flew his helicopter over your house.
Yeah, Don was causing interference.
If you were watching, I think you heard that Don was called off to helicopter duty with Channel 13. And from what I understand, they are flying over Energy Park right now looking at.
Are you getting the info from
Thanks, George. I appreciate
George,
that.
appreciate it.
So.
I think there's a big festival there over the weekend.
Yeah, there was.
Anytime Don's around, it's a festival. You know that.
Yeah.
Whether it's intentional or not. Yeah. So are you still got your big training set up there at home?
Yes. Yeah. So I just actually on Thursday this week, I'm not sure if this is what you were referring to, but on Thursday this week, I had a driver academy event, an in-person one. We had people bring their street cars down. So we had a bunch of Porsches, BMWs, Lamborghini, Ferrari, a few exotic cars down at the racetrack south of Houston in Angleton to kind of get people more comfortable with the car. So I'm doing all kinds of stuff.
Wow.
In addition to the driving
and the bench racing too.
Oh yeah. I do the sim racing as well. All kinds of things. I got the setup at home. I'm in California right now this weekend, just visiting a friend, but nice to have the time to be able to jump on the call with y'all this morning.
Oh, and we appreciate it.
And that's why you had to take the later call because it's 8:45 there.
Thinking that. What part of California? Huntington Beach, Laguna, what?
Where are you at?
Yep, exactly. We're in Irvine.
Well, see, go down to Huntington Beach.
And get one of those
CDJR and check out those Dodge Demons. They got some brand new Dodge Demons.
Open MSO Demons.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
2018 models. You can pick one up
for a smooth $250,000.
Yeah. Smooth. Well, I'll stick with my GTI.
Well, at least try and get a test drive. Get a test drive in it and let us know how that works out.
Just send a picture.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, Alec, we really appreciate you joining us. It's so much fun watching your career. I follow you. I follow you on Facebook. I also try and follow your race team on Facebook as well to see what you guys are doing. And we wish you lots of luck next year. And if any of our viewers are interested and they want to bring a sponsorship package for Alec, you can get a hold of us at InWheelTime. At info@inwheeltime.com, and we'll pass it on, and you can have your name emboldened on the side of his race car.
There you go. As long as it's a Cadillac.
No. Thanks, Alec.
Oh, that sounds great.
Appreciate it, brother.
Take care.
Thanks, man.
You think about, for such a young man coming out of the Woodlands and being so successful. You got to remember, he was a Porsche Cup champion in Europe,
right,
where they live Porsche, and he has raced, in my opinion, at some of the higher levels here in
not only that,
States.
He's got the skill level of the driver. He's got the skill level of a team manager, mentor, coach, and he's a young, intelligent man.
Well, to me, that's a big part of it is the fact that he knows stuff and he can teach somebody else. He can share
and knows how to teach as well.
Right.
I think the only bad decision he makes is coming on with us every now and then.
Well, and in that case, I got to say this: that we'd love to hear from you. Just shoot us an email. The address is info@inwheeltime.com, just like Conrad stated. You can get a hold of us individually if you'd like. Mike at info, Conrad at info, and, of course, Jeff at info. You don't need to email Don. He doesn't need to know anything.
Info@inwheeltime.com
for any of us.
It comes to all of us. Just send it to info.
Send it, but don't send it to Don. So, and I had to get that in there. So we're coming up on pretty much the close of the day.
Well, we still got to do auto history.
I know, but I'm going to do this too. That's what I want to say. I've got some things here, and we're going to extend it like 2 more hours. You guys want to go 2 more hours?
Two more hours?
Well, Don's flying, yes.
Yeah, we can do it.
So I did want to say this in automotive news. If I could do that, Mike, we got time for that or no?
Go.
Okay.
Just start.
Tesla Inc. from Washington, D.C., this just in, is recalling nearly 12,000 U.S. vehicles sold since 2017 because of a communication error may cause a false forward collision warning or unexpected activation of the automatic emergency braking system.
So there's a wife sitting next to you.
The National Highway Traffic Safety. Well, let me read that again, and you can say that. Emergency braking system. Yeah, there you go. But this was something very similar to what Kelly was having to say earlier with the autonomous and stuff. California automakers said the recall of 11,704 Model S, X, and 3, along with the Ys, have prompted a software update from October 23rd to vehicles in its limited early access full service driving, or the FSD. It's a beta thing, I guess. So that's part of that. Let's see if there's any more of that story. Moving on. Tesla said that October 29th, more than 99.8% of the vehicles, all but 417, had installed an update. No further action is necessary. So disregard.
Yeah, we had a recall, but we're not
Never
going
mind.
to.
Yeah.
While the microchip shortage is still expected to last into next year, retailers are anxiously waiting for proof from automakers that the worst of the crisis is over. Some of the largest dealership groups in the country dropped last month to a scant 20-something new vehicles on average per dealership at each of their franchise stores, compared with hundreds per lot they normally have. And Mike, you stated that earlier in the show. Maybe might have been off air that you've got some folks around your area that 1 or 2.
Well, yeah.
Oh yeah, there's 2 dealerships, and you may have seen them if you've come down my part of the town. One of them is a Chevrolet dealership. And all his used or pre-owned and everything is all now over on his new. Okay. And he's shut down
spread out
half of his new. He's emptied it because he can't spread out that far.
He's not getting inventory. Yeah. And they are so dependent on the revenue now that they're generating from used cars, because there just isn't enough new cars to do it, and as well as their service departments.
Still got to pay the
departments
bills.
are so important to the function of a dealership.
Yep, absolutely.
We ought to go ahead and do auto history, Jeff.
Let's do it.
So you got the video?
Oh, I'm getting there.
So in 1895, the first auto club in the United States was formed, called the American Motor League. In Chicago, they had their meeting, and it was Charles Edgar Duryea, one of the original vehicles ever manufactured. He was one of the vice presidents of it, and that's Charles there.
Charles.
Now, one of my favorite people in 1897, Ransom Eli Oldsmobile. Doesn't he look kind of nerdy?
He does, with the glasses.
Sort of looks like you.
He received the first patent. I need to get round ones. He received the patent for a motor carriage, where a power motivator moved a four-wheeled vehicle. So he had the original patent for a motor carriage. In 1927, Ford ended production of the Model T and started production of the Model A.
That's cool.
Vastly improved, had an elegant Lincoln-like style on a smaller scale. It had a 200 cubic inch four-cylinder engine that only produced 40 horsepower, but prices starting at $460 when they were new.
Wow. You know what? My suggestion, I always say this, LS and tub it out.
And I'm sure lots of people will. They actually made over 5,000 Model A's through the years that they were building it up through 1932.
Perfect.
In 1939, the 40th National Automobile Show opened in Chicago, Illinois, with cutting-edge development brought by Packard Automobile. Now, remember, this is 1939, so this is pre-World War II. Yeah, there should be a Packard.
There it is, right there.
There it is.
And Packard
Okay,
introduced air conditioning in the 1939. air conditioning, and this is that car that was at the show. So
That the actual car?
That is the actual car.
I'll be darned. I like his shirt.
You know, you think about how early that was for air conditioning to be in an automobile, and it's pretty interesting that they did it. In 1950,
we should have Officer
in 1951.
Sergeant Woodard run that plate.
Hopefully, this is the right picture. In 1951, zebra. No, let's go to the next picture.
All right. Moving on.
We should have.
I like Johnny.
Yeah.
Well, where's the? There we go. In 1951, zebra crossing stripes were introduced in England to reduce the casualties for pedestrians at road crossing. I just thought that was the most famous
I
zebra
know where you're
stripe.
going. You're going with that.
You know, remember Paul's barefoot.
Yeah, that's right.
And then in 1960, country and rock. You can go back one now.
Oh, gee whiz.
Country and rockabilly
Hold on.
star
There you
Johnny Horton lost his life.
And I'm the one pushing buttons,
in
right?
a drunk driver accident on Highway 79 in Milano, Texas, while he was leaving the Skyline Club in Austin. He was driving a Cadillac, a 1960 Cadillac.
Oh, my.
In 1978,
Hold on, we got to move some pictures up for you, don't we?
Yep. Go one more.
Chrysler hired Lee Iacocca as he was leaving Ford, and Lee Iacocca introduced the K car.
Mm-hmm.
He got the loan from the federal government and basically saved Chrysler, who has since gone through Cerebus, Daimler, FCA, Stellantis.
But
so
to his credit, they paid him back. They paid the government. They paid us back.
Yep.
What about GM? Doesn't GM still have an outstanding note, Conrad?
Call them. Mary Barra. Call her.
Yeah.
Her number is we don't care
anymore.
In 1989, Carmen Fasanella, a taxi cab driver from Princeton, New Jersey. Can you imagine getting in a car with this guy?
Uber driver.
He retired after driving a taxi for 68 years.
Nonstop.
No, not nonstop. But he was a taxi driver in Princeton, New Jersey for 68 years. Oh, my gosh.
His resume has one thing on it.
One line.
But he must have been very good at it.
Yeah.
He had a lot of practice.
With that face, oh, my goodness.
And that is this week in auto history.
Okay. You tell me when, Mike, because I got this going on. We can extend it 2 more hours, Don, won't Mike?
I think we should. You know, particularly if we got some more news headlines.
Yeah, there's a little bit of news.
Auto news.
Yeah, I just covered something up. Penske CEO Roger Penske said he expects the this is part of a different article. There was the chip shortage. At least 12 months more. Penske dropped a 12-day supply of new vehicles in the U.S. in the end of September. For some brands, inventory was even tighter. So they're still talking about that. Now, there's a Sonic president, Mr. Jeff Dyke. I worked for Jeff Dyke. Jeff Dyke hired me long time ago with AutoNation when he was first coming in there and I was first coming in there. So it's good to see his name in headlines.
And now you're working with us.
I know. Gee whiz.
Moving up in the world.
He's wishing he was working with us.
Oh, can I do one more thing before
Now, while
we go?
the 2020 Hummer EV pickup truck is not going to come with a spare tire, it's going to come with Inflate-A-Flat, an inflator kit, which I personally don't know that's a good idea. But when you look at the size of the tires on that Hummer, where are you going to put that 200-pound behemoth?
Right, how would you get it out?
Why would you have your
wherever it is?
mother-in-law riding with you anyways? I mean, come on. Okay, I've got this right here. I picked this up last night at dinner before we closed. It said Cadillac, and that's what prompted me to take it off the menu. The Cadillac Margarita, established in 1993. The Caddy is the first of the most popular margarita made with Sousa Blue, 100% blue agave tequila, available unfrozen and on the rocks, salt or no salt. Stop in and have one. Okay. Are we ready, Mike?
The Spring Hill Assembly Plant has paused production October 4th through December 6th as they prepare to launch the 2023 Cadillac Lyriq crossover. They're investing roughly $2 billion in the assembly plant to get it ready for the Cadillac Lyriq production.
I like that. That Lyriq is the electric one, right?
Yeah.
All EV, pure EV.
Yeah. And you know what? It's a shame they couldn't put a gas motor. I would buy the heck out of that.
So, in Mars's honor, we're going to put those last two stories together. We're going to have a Cadillac Margarita Lyric in Margaritaville. Get Jimmy Buffett.
We will be playing some Jimmy Buffett tonight at the Huli Huli Hut, 7 to 10. We'll be there.
Of course, at the Huli Huli Hut. What else?
And if you want to come, Jeff will be signing autographs, as will Sergeant
Woodard. Sergeant Woodard will be there. He said he'll be in street clothes.
But he's going to be
Texas
in street
DPS.
clothes, so he's just going to be Mr. Woodard.
Just hanging out. There's a dance floor. Come on out. Shake your booty.
You like that tie back to
do a little belly rubbing.
Nice shot.
Okay.
Well, thanks, Jeff.
All right, we got a couple of more little things we need to do.
We need to close the show.
You ready?
You're up.
All right, let's do this. So here we go, and I got to put the laptop. I know that there's just Zoom.
I think we got some sound going on behind
we got
you.
There we go. Okay, that is a wrap, according to Don.
Thank God.
For another episode of In Wheel Time Car Show. Let me turn this down a little bit. When you're on Facebook page, please give us a like. Tell all your friends about us. Share our junk. Commercials to run. Hold on, we have a button here. You'll get Conrad's Unicorn Hunting feature. All the things automotive. There'll be some fun stuff, too, along with upcoming events all week. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show streams live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and on InWheelTime.com every Saturday from 8 to 11. We're extending it another 9 hours. 30-minute podcasts are available on your favorite podcast outlets 7 days a week. Special thanks to all of our guests today, which we did have some. They're wonderful. The In Wheel Time Chief Engineer is David Ainsley. Our Marketing Director, Video Technical Director, he needs a raise, Jeffrey Zekin, which is me. For Booking Agent and Podcast Programmer, Mike Out of This World Mars, and his royalty king, Conrad DeLong. Don Armstrong is not here. He's absent with an excuse. Today's show is produced by New Bomb Turk. That was his thing from the show.
Right.
Okay,
right.
yeah. Please join us again next week for another fun time. Car Talk Show, In Wheel Time. Have a great weekend. Be safe. Talk to you later.